Hey up, how's it going?
Still alive.
Yes, yes, yes. So you sounded like you had a great birthday, mate. A great 40th.
Yeah, you could say that. Uh, to be fair, man, like I'll be honest, it's only like a couple of people that knew, you guys included, and some family members, just because I have to be responsible. But other than that, I literally went incognito while I was driving. I mean, plans changed at work. A couple of things came up with clients, which meant I would be doing very little work for that week. So I just said, I'll cover you if you can cover me, kind of thing. So I drove home on the Tuesday. As I was driving home, I had Skyscanner, just browsing through that on flights and stuff like that, and arrived home. And by the time I'd arrived home on Tuesday, I'd booked the trip for Wednesday, and then so packed my shit on Tuesday night, and then Wednesday morning I was flying out to Ibiza.
I fucking love that, mate. I love that. Part of me wishes I could do that shit, where I could just go, fuck it, I'm going on a plane. Because sometimes they're the best ones, right?
Oh,
You go and you feel like going rather than booking something way in advance. You're like, oh, I don't know if I want to go this thing anymore. You know what I mean?
I mean, I've been umming and ahhing about it for like weeks previously, and what had happened was like I think 3 weeks before I had planned because there was a few things on that I actually wanted to see in Ibiza, but I couldn't get anyone to come with me at the very last minute. Plus, I mean, it wasn't even last minute. I gave people like a week's notice, but they also some I allowed some people to kind of talk me out of it for some reason. So anyway, I said, well, a week went past, and I was quite like disappointed that I just didn't go. So when this opportunity came last week, I was like, I'm not allowing that this time. And then thankfully, Caden Baker does the visuals and stuff.
I might
He's a
do. I might, I
he's
might
a
recognize it.
videographer. So I was speaking to Caden not long ago. We caught up like for a catch up because he's been working in Dubai and Bali and stuff like that. So he was home in Chester, and I randomly just like said to Caden, "Do you fancy Ibiza?" And he was like, "I've not actually been to Ibiza, so yeah, I'd be up for that." But I didn't take it seriously. So
Yeah.
again, weirdly, on that week before I went, he messaged me out of the blue, going, "Are you still thinking about Ibiza?" And that was it. That was enough for me. Like, right, I've now got a partner in crime. Let's do this. And I knew my birthday was coming up on the Sunday, so I thought, I don't want to be. There's nothing planned for my 40th birthday, so I thought, do you know what, man, just do it. So yeah, it's really that straightforward. It was just a matter of
Yeah, man.
deciding, booking, and going.
Why the fuck not, man? But so look back now, would you say that was the way to do it?
I don't know if there is like a different way to do it the way I did it. I think I don't regret any of it now.
Yeah.
It's like it's some people, they've got to save up and they've got to do this. They've got to arrange, something to someone to look after the business or the jobs, get time off, all that stuff. The thing is with me, I've worked everything out in my life, the way my life runs, the way everything is in my day-to-day schedule and all that stuff, where I can pretty much be flexible to do what I want when I want to.
That's good, man.
Everything's been, shall we say, configured to work out on autopilot, unless obviously I've got meetings that are planned or anything like that. But I haven't. Obviously, the gym takes care of itself. I've got amazing staff here, so I barely need to even be here, which is where I am right now. That's taken care of. I've got obviously the kids. I've got family to help with that, and the kids' mum and everyone is all good with doing their bit. So the fact that I had no real big jobs to do in London or any major clients to work with that week, it just seemed that all the stars had aligned, mate. And I thought, now's the time. It's
Yeah,
now or never.
yeah. I think people, bringing bodybuilding into it. I think a lot of people get into a very well into a rhythm of bodybuilding. That's what it's about, right? Is the consistent monotony of doing the same shit, blah blah blah. So much so.
Mm.
that they could be afraid to fucking actually go away and do shit outside of that routine. And I think that's what sort of puts people off, you know.
Yeah.
I,
I think again, like I mentioned previously, I think it was comes with age and experience, doesn't it?
yeah, because I feel like you get a skill with bodybuilding, knowing how to do it, and then you're able to pretty much go, right, I know how to be more intuitive with this. I know how to do this in a way where I can have like a little bit of balance and then,
Yeah.
I can get back onto my shit. And a
Yeah.
lot of people, I think it's realizing that your approach for your consistency, right? And if you're on it 99% of the time, we got whatever process it is, the 1% that you're off is going to dictate the whole, um, the whole end product. So it's like that vice versa as well. If you're
Yeah.
always off your shit and you're like, right, cool, I'm gonna have a week of like being consistent, then obviously you're not gonna be a product of that. So
It's weird
yeah,
because I get I agree with what you're saying, and I watched some stories last week about people. This friend of mine put a post up, and like the best bodybuilders are the ones who are consistent in what they do and all this stuff, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, I partly agree with that, but then again, um, there's no one size fits all, is there?
no, I feel like there is a very individual approach, right? Because when I'll listen to podcasts, I'll listen to different bodybuilders when they're approaching stuff like that, and some people are so dialed in, where everything's down to the T, and they thrive off that. And then some people aren't physically able to bodybuild if they're doing it like that. But they're also very laid back and they can also, again, have that intuitive approach. I've definitely had both approaches, I suppose. And I've seen like the pros and cons of both. I've definitely been on the side where I'm so locked in, there's no wiggle room, and I'm
Hmm.
overthinking things, and I'm like, ugh,
Hmm.
I'm sort of burning myself out by just over, probably overcompensated in the process, when I don't need to. I think that was more so early on when I was fresh into it, and I'm like, cool, if I miss this, then it's going to be the end of the world and stuff like that. I feel like that's more so people who are starting to take it serious, whatever. That could apply to a lot of those guys. But I've also been to the point where I'm like, right, I'm going to have this intuitive approach. I mean, last year was pretty much that approach. I didn't really take check-in photos too frequently, and I was able to not necessarily track my food, but I was eating consistently, and I know where to bump up and where to take it down, and sort of listen to my body, and it allowed me to sort of breathe and then gain perspective. Okay, cool. I can function in this way off the back of that, and I could have that. I'm reluctant to use the word balance because
Mm.
I- it's that's a very subjective thing. It's a very
It
individual
is.
thing.
It is.
I suppose there's going to be so many things, right, that contribute to that. How much balance that you have, like, um, I suppose that down comes down to the level that you're operating at, the genetics that you have, your psychological makeup, how compatible you are with
What's the
that.
goal? What's the goal right now? What's the target?
Yeah,
What's
yeah, yeah,
what you're trying to achieve?
yeah.
I mean, yeah, 100%. But
Mm,
as we've spoken about it before, having this all or nothing mentality, like right now, it's I've not really got specifically anything that's on my to-do list as such. Yeah, of course, I'd like to do things later down the line of the year, but I also don't want to go down the year and look back. I think I wish I'd have done that time because the thing
that's it.
is, from years of doing what I've been doing, that's where I've been many times is sat at the end of a prep or a whatever show, just done all that and look back and think, do you know what? I could have actually gotten away with about 2 or 3 weeks there of doing whatever the fuck I wanted to, eating over my calories, having a
That's
few
it.
more cheat meals, having
Yeah,
these
yeah,
fucking, you know what I mean? I could have had that drink, or I could have gone to watch that movie and had that popcorn, or I could have had
yeah.
that pudding. I could have had all that. And it's hindsight. It's massively hindsight. But again, when you're all or nothing, doesn't just doesn't mean a thing.
It's
You know what I mean?
it's hard, isn't it? It's so tricky because yeah, I've definitely been in that place where I'm like, right, and I'm trying to be so locked in. And again, it's easier to burn out, and you could definitely do bodybuilding to an extent where you end up sort of resenting it a little bit because you're
Mhm.
like, God, I can't do anything but bodybuilding. I remember having a conversation with a client actually because he was like, I kind of I'm reevaluating why bodybuilding is in my life. I don't want it to take over in my life. And I was like, because I really tried to simplify it, break it down. I'm like, okay, cool. So, say you're going to change what your goals are within bodybuilding and
Yeah.
competing. Because he's like, I want to do it more as a hobby. I'm like, okay, cool, cool, cool. So, what is it that you're going to change about what you do on a daily basis? Are you going to eat differently? Are you going to not train? Are you going to, you know, uh, do
So many
anything different with your
variables. Yeah.
recovery? Yeah, it's like what is it that's actually going to change by changing what how intense you want to bodybuild? Because what I was trying to make him think is, are you doing it too intense? Or overthinking it? Because it's like at the end of the day, bodybuilding is simple, right? Um, I heard this on I forgot the guy's name, which is not great, but he just basically said you just need to eat a lot of food, to the point where you don't get fat for a long time, train hard, and sleep plenty. And that's it.
Mm.
That's it. That's going to be the bulk of the shit that you need, right? I think because trying to go for those extra couple of percent and really stressing about them sort of cancels it out because you're getting overstressed, and that stress management is part of actually making fucking progress. And the best bodybuilders are actually dumb as rocks because they could just repeat the
Yeah.
simple shit and
Yeah.
not overthink it, right? Um, so I think it's trying to just do the shit that works without overdoing it because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that will just fucking also put a lot of effort into this process and also spin the wheels as well. You know what I mean? Like,
And the result might not even be what they hoped it would be in the end anyway.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So like people go, right, I'm always fucking training. They're overtraining and they're not getting any bigger or getting any results because they're always fucking training, or they're like always trying to stay too lean. And
Yeah.
again, they're not growing or some
Yeah.
shit, or they're over dieting in a prep. So it's like, some of these people probably benefit from chilling the fuck out,
Yeah.
right?
Just have that
Uh,
little step back, take a step back.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, as monotonous as bodybuilding is, you don't want it to be a blur. You don't want to go, oh, I've done this 10, 20 years and I can't really remember much, you know. It's been a fucking blur.
And there have been moments in my whole like career of it all that I have been a little bit of a blur, and they're the ones that you just really wish that you had, done something a little bit different. You don't regret anything I've done, but I just wish I could have added a bit more that wasn't always just to do with bodybuilding. Um,
Yeah,
it's a weird one because, like I said, this time when I went like doing this thing like 2 years ago, no way would I have done it. I mean, I went on me and Kieran Driscoll. We went to Magaluf, right?
yeah,
4 weeks out or 3 weeks out, I think it was. Maybe it was more, 5 or 4 anyway. And we knew from the get go it was going to be a strict kind of straight through holiday. We'd have one big, cheat meal or refeed at the end. We wouldn't be drinking. We train every day, and it was a great holiday. It was fantastic company with his family and all that stuff. But I didn't quite think it was a holiday, if that makes sense. Because to be
no,
honest with you, mate, we were getting up in the morning. We were going to do cardio. So we were doing steps like fucking stupid o'clock in the morning. Um, and it was, it was Spain. It's just like it's not cool out there. It's fucking boiling. And we were going to do that, and then we were coming back, prepping our food for the day. And then we were going to train, and then we do things with the rest of the family and stuff. Now, as much as we all knew what that was going to be about, like that's what we accepted before going. Looking back at it after being there, we're like, I said to myself, I would never do that again because I've done it before as well. I've done it like 3, 4 times. I've done it with my own family. Um,
yeah,
but that was because I just wanted them to have a good time. And in my head, I was like, I don't care about myself. I just want them to have a good time. But in the
Yeah.
process, you kind of just you feel like you're struggling and you regret it and all that shit. And also you start to feel resentful for a decision that you made. And
Yeah.
with this one, with when me and Kieran were in Magaluf, that was just strange because for some reason we were so close out of the show and everything was so strict, and I just felt bad on the rest of the people there because they wanted to really get stuck in, have a good time, get pissed every night, all this stuff, and we kind of held them back, and I really felt it hitting me hard, even though we convinced each other that it was all absolutely fine and stuff.
Mm.
It just really wasn't. It just hit differently, and the thing with that holiday, mate, it was the worst ending because somehow I managed to take norovirus out there with me. The first 4 days I was fine, but my family had it at home. But I thought I had a quick escape, and day 5, I think it was, hit me really hard,
Fuck. Yeah.
and I
So that's,
mean bed bound,
yeah. Yeah. That's not good. That's a shit time, man. That's the
literally
worst possible scenario, isn't it? See, like, I've always thought like if I'm going away to somewhere, I'm going to switch off and I'm not going to try to be super diligent with. This is why I wouldn't go away personally on a prep because of what you just described.
100%.
Because then I just find, and I've turned down holidays when I'm on prep, and I know people are like, oh, you could do it even though you're dieting. It's like cool, yeah. And if you can, again, it depends on the person.
Hmm.
But for me, I'm probably looking at it quite black and white. I'm like, okay, I'll be doing the exact same thing I'm doing, but it would just be harder
Hmm.
because I have to go and try to make sure I could get to the gym and then try
Yeah,
to source a shop and then try to do all this and then try to fucking sleep. And I'm like trying to fucking, I don't know about you, like when I'm on prep, it's like it's harder to be social and to switch off in that way socially. Whereas, if I'm chilled, because I've got so much shit to think about. I'm like, right, did I get my posing in?
yeah,
And I need to get my fucking, even just like when you're really close to a show, it's like, right, I need to shower, I need to exfoliate, I need to fucking shave,
yeah, yeah.
and all that. Whereas if I'm going away, I just want to chill, man. I want to
So
chill.
same. Like I said, that last holiday with Magdalene was the one I said I'm never doing that again. I'm never going holiday and prep ever, ever again. And I've said I'd never do it again, and I haven't.
Yeah,
And what you just said there, like you've got to do all that stuff. You're right, and the way you think about it is that I'd rather just go on holiday and just chill and do that. That is the right way, in my opinion, to do it because I've done both.
yeah,
And what you're saying is, trust me, the best
yeah.
way to do it.
Because I've known people, I've known plenty of people. I've had clients that will do it, and I'm like, okay, if you go away, right, and you're going on holiday, that's cool. But if you're on a prep, I'm like, well, you still got to tick those boxes, man, or else you're going to be a bit fucked. Like, if there's time where we can create some sort of diet break, sound. But I also don't want them to be gaining like 10, fucking
Yeah.
50 pounds to when they come back. So it's like, and it's also going there with food focus as well. I think that's also
Hmm.
why I can't like switch off in the way that I want to because people are just chatting about random stuff, right? And you're thinking, oh, my next meal's in 30 minutes. Shit. I'm like, fuck, this is 15 minutes to go. Fuck. And you're thinking about that shit and you can't be present. It's
You haven't
like,
you, you haven't got your comforts either. You know what I mean? Like you can just
no.
turn to do when you're on
Yeah.
prep. You know where everything is. You know how to get to this. You know how to do that.
Yeah.
Just simple things like you know where your seasoning is. All this shit. You haven't
Yeah.
got all that, and it throws you completely off whack. But what I was
Yeah.
gonna say then was the main thing, mate, and I realized this is, and as much as like holidays are great, even the one like we had in Magaluf was amazing. And that, do you know what? I will be honest, and I'll admit, like a lot of the stuff that went on there was a lot of smoke and mirrors for me. I was posting pictures that like this is fucking amazing. This is easy.
Mm.
We're doing all this. We're having a great time. Even on prep, all absolute fucking bullshit.
Social
Absolute
media,
bullshit.
man.
People don't see they're walking to the gym, half fucking dying. Like obviously we're feeling really pretty low at the moment at the minute on in the stage of prep that we are. Then you've got to add the dehydration on top of that, and then the change of your sleep hours. Your body clock's a bit fucking ski whiffed, and as much as you're putting on the stories like this is amazing, we're out in the sun, we're just gonna smash the gym now, blah blah. Deep down, I was thinking to myself, what the fuck am I doing staying here? It was
Yeah.
all it was just bravado, really, really was.
Yeah, because I suppose you don't want to go there and fucking you've invested time, money, and whatever, and you don't want to be the person that's like, I'm having a shit time and whatever, because you don't want to make it other people's issue that the fact that you're on prep, right? And you
Yeah.
also are probably trying to convince yourself, it's like, this is great, this was worth doing, right? I didn't make a big fucking mistake, you know?
Mm.
Um, I get that, right? And I think. But again, sometimes you've got to experience that. I suppose that's the trickery of it, right? Because I
Yeah.
suppose that's what locks people away in a process as well. Because
Yeah.
like, I don't think it's going to be worth it, and it's like, I suppose it's what it's wherever you're at, right? Because if
Yeah.
you're in an off season, you're chilling, um, and you know that you've been pretty much on it. You're like, cool, I could go away. I haven't got this crazy food focus as well. I can have more structured lax for a fucking week or two, because I know that I've been on it quite a lot. And I think if you back yourself up with a good amount of consistency, it it should give you confidence to do these things, right? Where
So,
you're
so
like,
no,
go
sorry, carry
on,
on.
go
So
on.
let me ask you this now. So, if so, when you're saying you want to go on holiday, you just want to chill. So, say you were like my position. I've been on holiday in an off season, and I've been on holiday like nearly a few weeks out of a prep. So, what you're saying is when you want to go on holiday, and you said you just wanted to chill. Does that apply to when you're just in off season and have no immediate goals coming up, or are you talking about like do you understand what I mean? Because now, if I was my personally, if I now was in a big off season where I'm practically eating shitloads of calories anyway, um, of course I've got structure of cardio and training and all that stuff and taking all the supplements. But if that was me now, I wouldn't give a shit about what the hell I would do on holiday. I'd just go and eat as normal as I wanted to,
Yeah,
drink if I wanted to, to some moderation, and then I'd train whenever I feel like it. And that's not a problem for me. So for you, are you saying like even if you were in off season, you would be kind of like nah, fuck all that, just gonna chill and
yeah. So I would be. uh, definitely inclined to be like that on off seasons. Like I'd be okay with not training
Mhm.
for good while. Like if I was to have a random week off training at home, I think that would be harder because you're in your same environment and
Yeah,
I would have
it
to
was
replace it.
wasted. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, but if you're away for a week and whatever, I'm like, cool, I'm doing other shit and as much as I enjoy training, potentially it's a bit inconvenient to go to a gym, or if it is quite convenient, maybe I'll go in, but it's not like got to be this life or death session where I'm like, right,
Mm.
I need to hit my fucking numbers. I try to, I, I think I'm quite good at switching off when I need to switch off and telling myself, right, cool, that's it, don't think. Um, when it's like backstage as well, and it's like, right, cool, the work's done, chill.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that.
I mean, the
Uh,
reason I ask is because obviously I still see guys now who mainly guys who are, not even prepping for anything, just kind of in that phase where there's nothing on, there's no need to prep, there's no need to grow, just on the cruise kind of phase. And they're still though going on holiday and you still see them doing everything religiously. And I get that's what people say is consistency and being a
yeah,
bodybuilder. But for me, and as like you said, I agree. I want to go and just fucking relax, chill. Just
yeah, yeah. It's again, I know because uh, from coaching people, it's like the approach around Christmas, right? Some people, I've seen different approaches. Some people want the day off, some people want to be half on it, and some people want to be completely structured still. And I'm
mhm,
like, whatever creates a good day for you that day,
yeah.
right? like obviously if you're not going to go off the rails, that is over a good few days. That's not going to be ideal, right?
Uh,
But yeah, I think some people. Yeah, it depends how often you're doing that. Like I know how often I go away, and it's not often, right? So I know if I'm gonna go away, I'm gonna chill the fuck out, right?
yeah, yeah,
It's like if I finish my season abroad, and I would like to have a few more days to just chill the fuck
yeah.
out. I'm not like, right, cool,
Sink
let's
it
get
in.
back on it the next day and da 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 da. I'm like, no, man, because I've I know how much. I think consistency can give you confidence to come off, if that makes sense. But you
Yeah,
can't come off if you're inconsistent with that same confidence because you're like, I've had last week where I was eating like shit, or this week where I've not been to the gym, or I've been this week where I've not slept well,
mm,
and I've had a week where I've been ill, and I've had the. That's where it's like, okay, fuck. I really need to lock in. I need to be consistent here.
yeah.
You know what I
I,
mean?
I think it's probably a lot to do, like I said earlier. I think it's very person dependent, and that word "all or nothing" really is, it's actually what resonates with people. I think for me, like I said,
Yeah.
I went to Ibiza, and my mate, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was fucking all or nothing, and I went all out. Not gonna
Yeah.
lie, I mean it.
Sound. Sound. Yeah.
Really, really all out.
Yeah. And I'm that way inclined. I'm quite all in all. I think this is where I find it easy to switch off, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's because I'm like, that's the nothing. I'm like, cool. As long as I'm not nothing 99% of the time, or I'm on it, a lot of the time, cool. I could just chill, right? So when you say you went all out in Ibiza, do you want to should we give us an
Ah,
insight?
so let's look at it like this. It's like you're trying to challenge yourself how much all out you can get, which is the weird thing because like you get to the airport and
Mm,
immediately, as you're straight into you have your airport breakfast or your airport lunch, and I don't even drink beer, man. I don't drink lager and stuff like that. It's not my thing. But I was like, you know what? I fancy having a beer. Let's have a pint. And then you have another, waiting for the gate to open, and you go to duty free and all that stuff. We went to duty free and got like 3 bottles of AU vodka, right?
mm.
I don't drink vodka either, but I knew that was going to be easy to
Yeah,
drink, right? Because I'm a
yeah,
I'm a JD guy. If I ever have a drink, it's Jack Daniels normally.
yeah,
So again, it's just like that little devil on my shoulder was saying, "Have a drink on the plane. Have a drink on the plane." I'm like,
yeah,
"There's no the angel isn't even there." She said, "She's come for a break, mate." I'm like, "All right, mate, let's do it."
yeah,
So you get the stewardess to bring you your cup and your drink. You buy a cup and a drink, obviously, first. And then you go, why am I buying? I've got fucking 3 bottles in my bag here. So you're not supposed to. And if anyone sees this and reports me, I'm sorry, but you sneakily open the bag open, tip yourself in, got a bottle of Fanta Lemon in my suit, in my rucksack. Next thing you
yeah,
know, we're 5, 6 drinks deep, absolutely fucking smashed before even getting off the plane and just full of rowdy scousers keeping you entertained. And you get there, the air hits you, and yeah, I was pretty tired for the first night. We'd hit the strip in San An, and
mm,
by about 1 a.m., I mean, I've got a video of me on my phone. I have videos on my phone, but I haven't got many. I'll be honest. People think there's going to be a shitload, but there isn't. I think I might have sent a few to Sarah as well, which are on Instagram that have deleted, thankfully. But she said they were some funny shit. So I'm there, mate, uh, on my sixth slice of pizza, just going, fucking, this is good pizza. This is the best pizza I've ever had in my life.
yeah,
I honestly felt like it was. So that was an early night. I think we went to bed about 2. Got up the next day, breakfast as you do, all that stuff, and then did the pool thing, and then instantly straight back on it. Like, you know what? Crack
why
the
the fuck
fucking
not?
AU vodka open and let's go.
Why the fuck not? Yeah,
And the days went so fast, and it was amazing, mate. I mean, we did crazy shit. There are some stories that I might save for maybe one of these again when I finally kind of feel comfortable enough to talk about them, or might not be as disgusted with myself. And actually start remembering shit, mate, because there's a few blank spots there, and there's a lot of flashbacks going on right now where Caden keeps telling me, "Do you remember this? Or do you remember that?" And I'm like, "Fuck, no, I don't." But now I do. Um, a lot
Oh,
of things happened where I wasn't quite sure if they were real too. And there's this one experience, I've told you about privately with what happened in before going out to the club one night. But it was just surreal, mate. And like, I'll talk about the good bits as well. Obviously, there was, going out and watching, raving all night till like 7 a.m. And then walking out the club straight down to the beach and then watching the sunrise. And that was pretty fucking epic. You know what I mean? People think,
yeah,
it's all about just raving or getting off your face, but there was some really epic bits there. It's really enchanting is the only word I can think of. And then one day we were walking out of the club one night, and some random must have been like a bouncer or something invited us to an after party, and we were like, "Well, yeah, fucking right, let's go." So he put us a message in my WhatsApp, and he said, "Go to this location." And I'm like, "This is fucking cool." And this people might be watching this thinking that they've had this happen to them before because I've been to Ibiza many, many times over the years, and this is a normal thing. But there are also scams and shit that happen, but it looked completely legit. And we got to this location. The taxi driver took us there. It was like a car park in the middle of nowhere. Not gonna lie. And then people started turning up, and there was a lot of people. They were just turning up, getting dropped off by taxis, and everyone was looking like, "What's going on?" This was now 6:30 in the morning. People were still turning up, and there was a guy going around on a moped. There wasn't a load of people. I think tops at one point there might have been 30 people. And then there's a guy going around on a moped. He was obviously scouting to see how many people were there. And then people started getting really paranoid. Looking around thinking, what the fuck's going on? The message is pretty accurate as well, pretty clear. There's a lot of details in there. It's not just some random message, come here, we do this, blah, blah, blah. It was after party, details, blah, blah, blah. And it got to the point where it was now like 7:30 and people were going, "No, this is not happening. We've been out here for an hour. Everyone is absolutely coming down with all sorts. Everyone's tired."
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
and some people started dropping off, and me being me, I was quite stubborn. Like, no, this is going to happen. This is going to be the best time of our life. Obviously, didn't happen in the end, and we kind of left, and everyone was kind of like, "What the fuck just happened there?" And apparently, the guys going around on those mopeds and scooters, they're kind of sizing everything up to see if there's enough people there to make it happen. And if there isn't, they're just going to disappear. And nobody was giving any explanation. Nothing. It just didn't happen, and it was like a good 20-minute drive away. So
that's
that was a bit
crazy.
disappointing, but could have been something epic. That could have been something cool. And instead, you end up just going to the hotel and trying to sleep it off for 3, 4, maybe 5 hours if you're lucky. Go back to the pool, repeat.
Yeah,
But yeah, there were some crazy moments. But again, I'm gonna digest it all myself because it's still early days, and I've got to make sure that I know exactly what I'm saying, and there's actually some some truth to what I'm saying, or have I just made it all up? I'm not even sure, but
did
let
you
me
even
get back
go
to you
away?
on
Hmm. Can you imagine? Like,
that.
oh, it's just a dream.
uh,
You
definitely got
just,
definitely when I remember, like I said, there was a point in it was what 5 minutes past 10 minutes past midnight, and that's the point I woke up on a sun lounger in the middle of the night with a jumbo jet flying over my head and some French guy whispering in my ear. And I went, "Oh shit, I just turned 40. I better get my ass up and fucking move into the club." So anyway, the story leading up to that is something I would like to hold back on. I think that's something we can share on another one, but I'll bring that up
yeah,
once I have the full details clear as day in my head.
that's it, man. That's it. That makes sense. I relate to, I relate to the fact, like, you do stuff, you're like, I don't usually do this, so I'm gonna do it,
Yeah, and
I
that's
remember
again is letting go, right? It's being able to let go and do it.
it is, yeah. And I'm a sucker for like when I'm doing something new and I'm like, okay, I've made that agree with myself. It's like I'm just gonna chill out, I'm just gonna not try to be fucking regimented. So I'm like, oh, let's try this then.
Mm,
Let's do some new shit, right? I
yeah.
remember fucking being in Turkey and I was like somehow I ended up at this Turkish birthday, where there's ballet dancers and shit like that, and these guys just fucking offering me cigarettes. I've never smoked a day in my life, and then I ended up
Right.
just chain smoking.
Fucking
They're like,
brilliant.
"You want another one?" I was like, "Yeah, man, it's sound." And I'm like,
But yeah,
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but this isn't me." You like don't even recognize yourself. You're like, "Who the fuck have I become in this short space of time?"
so do you find, like you said about when you go, if you ever went on holiday, for example, that you would just chill out. Do you find, or not just talking about holidays in general, but as a bodybuilder, right? And obviously you've got the coaching business and all that, haven't you? Okay. I'm not sure if you have any other line of work on the side that you do and all that, but responsibility wise, you've got obviously the coaching side of things. Um,
Mhm.
and then you've got all this stuff that you're doing, the videos and all that stuff. Do you find though, um, whatever, if you were to go to any event, it does not have to be a holiday, but any kind of event which isn't bodybuilding, do you find it's difficult to let go now that you're a pro, or now that you have some sort of status in the bodybuilding industry? Do you find that it's harder to let go? And it's not just physically let it go, you actually feel it mentally as well, like it's a
Yeah,
psychological
yeah,
thing.
yeah. If I'm trying to be on it, I'm like, right, I'm going to try to do this thing and still tick all my boxes. Yeah. And then it's hard to be present within that thing
Yeah, that's what I
because then
mean.
I'm like, right, I need to eat my food and da 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 da. Da. But if I make the agreement with myself, it's like I'm going to have time off at this thing, whatever I'm doing. Then it's like again, it's that all or nothing. It's like I can find it quite easy to just switch off. I'm like because I think this comes from trying to, because I've been doing bodybuilding my entire time as an adult. So I think I have this whole, when you have a bunch of fucking monotony, you're like, cool, there's an opportunity for some novelty here. Right, let's experience as much as that. And I'm
Mm.
like, if I'm gonna break out of the monotony, I want to be a fucking curious guy and just go, oh, cool, what's this? What's that? Sound. Nice. Let's give that a go.
So you're saying that you are telling yourself that's what you're doing, right? But what I'm
I would
kind of
make the agreement beforehand
Yeah, but
with
what I mean
myself.
is physically, even though I've done that, I promised myself before going to Ibiza, like even the first couple of days, I promised myself that I was going to let go. I'd made that agreement as well. But physically, I still felt tight. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
a thing that other people experience, but physically, they say you can feel your emotions in your stomach and in your chest and all that
Yeah,
shit?
yeah, yeah,
I could
yeah.
feel this weight holding my body tight, and I just couldn't let loose
I
of it. It was
suppose it
weird.
depends how intense the it was, right?
Yeah.
The process was that I've just come away from. So
Hmm.
if I've like just come from like a big prep where it's like, duh, so, where it's been crazy intense, it's gonna feel very weird to just switch off
Yeah.
and do like a complete 180 on that. That's gotta feel weird, right? Especially if like perhaps intense works intense, blah blah blah, and then you all of a sudden like, oh shit,
Mm.
I'm I don't have to get my steps posed and do this at a certain time. It feels weird. It's like because prep could get that intense. This is again why I can't feel present because I'm just sitting there with
Yeah.
my fucking my meal and I want to sit with my meal. I've got a certain cutlery and I've got a certain bowl and I'm just eating that and I'm like, how fucking different is that to being away doing something and you're not even like you don't know
So
when your next meal's gonna be.
I think what I'm going to say here then will probably apply to Big Ride because he's just joined us, right?
Yes, Big
Um,
Ryan, how's it going?
All right, guys. Sorry about the
how
time.
are you,
It's all right,
mate?
man.
Yeah, just real quick. The reason why, man, I was fucking mowing my lawn, which is the most boring fucking thing ever, and my lawnmower broke, and I quickly had to pop down to the shop. But anyway, I'm here
It's all
now.
good, my man. It's all good. How
So,
you doing?
yes, as you were saying, Matt, go on.
So, I was thinking this a few days into the holiday, and I was thinking, like, you know what? There's something like I just mentioned to Jack then about that physical inability to kind of let go completely, just because I feel like there's a tightness all over my body, and I know it might be a psychological thing or whatever, but I physically feel it, and I've it took me a while to kind of, when you're sat there, obviously whatever substances going through my body or whatever alcohol, all that stuff, and you get into this deep chain of thought in your head. And I was thinking to myself, like, I haven't really been able to let go for about 10 years. Because 10 years ago, I was a fucking absolute nutcase. I was known for doing the wildest shit ever and always trying to, surpass my wildest shit the next time. And but then I thought to myself, the last around 10 years, when you're responsible for other people and their health, their fitness, their wellness, but also for me,
Yeah,
being responsible for children, a big business, a gym, all that stuff, um, it kind of has been giving me anxiety to be able to let go
Yeah.
for, and I've not been able to truly be myself. And the reason I'm asking you guys, because remember you saying, like, you get that anxiety now, you're thinking about doing what you could be doing away, right? But I feel personally like I haven't been able to really truly express myself and be myself for a long time, and that's gone to the detriment of not being able to let loose with my family, my friends, nights out or whatever. Yeah, I've gone out, I've done stupid shit, but not to the point where I enjoy doing stupid shit. It's like, does that make sense?
it's really good timing because this week on Monday I had this chat. I had this very chat because Mark, you're explaining the way that you're describing that is literally how I feel. Now, part of me thinks, is it? Here's what my brain's been doing. My brain's been like, is it just because you're a bit older now? Because obviously I just turned 39, you just turned 40. Maybe is it just an age thing? Like as you get older, you just become calmer. You don't find joy in the same things. So part of me was like that. But then there's another part of me that thinks because I hate to say this, like, because I was some crazy guy, but I was wild. Like
Yeah.
I let loose a lot. I had a bit of a drug thing and whatever. Yeah, a bit like what you just said. And I think to myself, have I created negative headspace with enjoying myself? I think it's a bit of both. I think because I did so many negative things back in the day, drugs, girls, whatever it was, I now associate, like if I start to enjoy myself too much, it almost feels like I'm uh, going back to a place that I didn't really like myself,
Yeah.
and then
Essentially regressing back to who you were and the fear of like becoming that person and undoing who you've become.
exactly.
Yeah, but
But sorry,
go on, carry on, carry on.
the reality is, I know for a fact that I will never go back to it. It's not like I'm some addict who's like right on the edge of like relapsing. That's not even what I mean. What I mean is, I just associate it. I've got bad connotations attached to it. And then if you add in the fact that I'm self-employed, obviously with coaching, I think we
Yeah,
all like work for ourselves.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh, letting myself down means that I could then let work go, and then if I, lose a
yeah,
few clients, and then
yeah,
I don't set a good example,
yeah,
so
exactly,
so
exactly.
I can't fully let go either, Mark.
I
I
get that.
Yeah.
cannot fully let go. I can't.
Yeah. No,
So,
I
so
I get that.
like the whole fact that obviously people, as your status as a bodybuilder and the things you achieve, people look up to you, right? And there's going to be people who are absolutely 100% strict and do everything by the book. But we are human at the end of the day, and this is a conversation I had with myself. And being human and being all or nothing on all that stuff mentality, it's like it's a lot of pressure on that on yourself. And I often thought to myself, would people have a different opinion of me? Would they judge me? Would they, do I even give a shit? This is what I thought in the end. Like, and like you just said, you could lose clients, you could lose your business and all that. It's like kind of snowball effect and everything going down, becoming detrimental to everything that you do. And I think that's the kind of thing that, you think one thing, okay, is it about letting go? Is it like, is it going to affect this? Is that going to affect that? Is that then going to, it's going to kind of all
Yeah,
combine together and have this massive disastrous effect just because you decided to have one fucking good night or whatever. So, it took me the first 2 days in Ibiza to have that little chat with myself.
Do
And
you know, it's crazy because I feel like when when I've done psychedelics in the past, that's when I've had that where I'm like, oh my God, really, because you experience some sort of ego death, don't you, right? And you're like, you look at yourself as the person you are every day, and you're like, wow, holy shit, man. And you see how, I don't know, you're a different person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I I,
It's
I I think something that you said, Mark. You said there is a physical hold on you. It's not even so much. It's not even just in your mind. There is a physical thing. I feel exactly that as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm. It's like
And
people say
and
when you feel emotions in your chest or your stomach and all that.
yeah,
It's the
yeah,
same, but like
yes.
yeah. But then also I will say this. I will also say I just don't get the same joy from it because there's been times where I've let loose and I've done a bit of coke or whatever, and I can't let go of. It's weird when people used to speak about anxiety or any sort of feelings before. I never really knew what it meant until I felt that. When I'm on it, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I feel like I should be better. I'll be in bed trying to, when you can't sleep, and you're just this, and all the thoughts go on in your mind, and you're thinking, "What the fuck?" Like I'm embarrassed of myself, and all these mad thoughts. And realistically,
Yeah.
it's not that deep. It's not that
well,
deep. It's just a.
my point exactly. So the way it's obviously like I said, it took me a couple of days to 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 like be truthful to myself, and I thought, and every time I've gone out and had a holiday in the past, I haven't been able to let go, and I've looked back and I have regretted it. And this time I thought, you know what? I'm not going to, because the one thing that changed my complete mindset to the whole experience of enjoying myself, because I was saying to Jack earlier, I absolutely let go, mate. For the last 3 days, I absolutely let go, right?
Good
And the
man.
one thing that changed the whole outcome of that was just saying to myself, you know what? So fucking what? It'll still be there Monday.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was a game
That's
changer for
hard to
me.
do, man. That's hard to do. I like that. I don't know. I don't. You said if anyone wants to join, feel free. Like, bro. Like, I can't. I mean, I
Yeah.
can. Like, if there was a gun to my head, could I? Yes, of course I could. But oh man, no. And
Well,
Yeah.
if anything, I wouldn't want to weigh you down. I wouldn't want to make your time worse because I'd be like,
well, mate, I mean, you're what you're saying right now is exactly how I thought, because I took Caden with me, who's never been to Ibiza, and
yeah,
I
okay.
was gonna go there with the mentality of, you know what, let's go there with an open mind and with a fresh pair of eyes, as if it's my first time, because whatever he wants to do, I'm just gonna roll with it. And to my
Yeah.
detriment, as many times as I was like, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to be standing up till 7:30 watching the sunrise on a beach with a shitload of strangers twice. And as much as I said that, I did it. And guess what, mate? It was the fucking best time ever
Yeah.
after it was. I'm like, so fucking glad I just went with it,
I
So,
think,
so,
not
Jack,
fight it.
I wonder if, like, so obviously you and me, I want to ask the question to Jack. Sorry, I know I cut you in over there, Jack. I don't know if you've actually felt this before, but like, because you talk about psychedelics and a bit of weed, right? Whereas me and Mark have obviously done a lot of uppers. And
Mhm.
for me, what it is the sleep deprivation. If ever, I'm not a guy who's ever struggled with mental health. I'm not someone who's ever been anxious or depressed or nothing like that. But the closest I've ever felt to what I would deem as like depression is sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
Okay, it makes me feel so bad. I know I'm not unique. Everyone feels bad from it, but it's what cocaine does to you. It's when you're not able to sleep, and then you might do it again the day after, and then you're not sit like fuck me, man. Like
yeah.
I don't know if you ever had that, Jack. I don't know. It's like
So, yeah, I suppose this is where I could differ from you guys because I've not had that phase, you know what I mean? And when I have sort of switched off, I've just because it's not been often. Like, to be honest, what now when I think back, I'm like, I can't actually think of the last time I really switched off and had that, you know. So as much as I'm like, oh yeah, I would be able to switch off it. I think,
Mm.
when have I given myself the space to do that?
yeah,
Which is quite interesting. And I think, well, I said to Mark before we started the podcast, I'm like, I'm probably gonna be like Dorian Yates, where he just retired from
yeah,
bodybuilding and had like this fucking midlife crisis,
yeah.
and do a bunch of crazy shit, right? But I know for me, I can't be half in and half out with commitments. Like I can't like go and switch. Say if I those times where I did the psychedelics, I can't be like, right, cool. I'm also having to manage these clients or whatever, because then I would truly feel fucking disgusting. Because I
Yeah,
would be like, it's like being high on the job. I couldn't be do that shit, right?
yeah.
It's like the next day, or you say if you've got kids, you've got to go fucking go look after your kids. Uh, uh, and when you the next day or some shit. So I think if I was going to switch off, I couldn't have anything. I would have to have recovery time and not anything around it.
Yes. No,
So
no,
I
no,
could be
no,
like,
no commitments, right? The days after, no things to do.
Yeah.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what?
So
That's
I think that would
sorry,
make it
carry on.
easier.
So you know what? Now you said that, I can actually pinpoint, and this is very unique or rare, I think, but I can actually pinpoint a certain point of my life where things changed for me drastically. And I remember what it was. I think it was like about 7 years ago. And back then, I used to run like group training classes, and I'd have them at 6:30 in the morning, and then another one at 7:30, and then so on, so on. I remember I think it was a bank holiday weekend, and I'd really gone all out on the Sunday night, and we still had the class on a Monday, and stupidly, we should never have. Well, some people do, we still do here. I just don't do them anymore. I given up classes long, long time ago, but I remember still being on it, and I think we were like swimming in a lake or something at like 5 in the morning, some stupid shit like that. And remembering then, shit, I've got to get to work, and I've stupidly then recklessly jumped in my car. Um, and I remember hitting a curb, my tire blew out, and I was stuck in the middle on the side of the road. I shitting myself because I was obviously over the limit with everything. Knowing then also, it hit me that there was like 20 people standing outside the gym, not being able to get in, who had woken up, given up their Monday morning to come to the class, and
Yeah,
that hit me hard. Not sure why, because it also happened when I slept through one day, and the same feeling came again, that anxiety and that panic of letting people down. And I remembered after that one time, like I said, on the bank holiday, I said I'd never, never, ever do it again. And I didn't, to be fair. I never, I either made commitments to change the schedule, or there wouldn't be a class, or I just wouldn't be doing any stuff like that. And I remember from that day onwards, I kind of, sadly, in a way, matured to the point where I stopped doing stupid shit like that. But then that also had a bigger impact on me overall, where then onwards, I just stopped being wild, stopped letting go. And
Yeah.
it was from there onwards, I felt that physical feeling I'm talking about, where if I ever comes to a point where I'm close to doing it, I have that thing to remind me.
yeah,
And
So I suppose it's when you are gaining responsibilities attached to your identity and what people know you as, right? As time goes on, as you just, life goes on, and that becomes even harder, and there's more consequences
mm,
to not being on your shit. And
yeah,
as you guys pointed out, it's like when you're coaching people, obviously you want to lead from the front, and you're like,
yeah,
what would I tell a client? What, if you like, if they could see you now, and it's like,
yeah, yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
oh shit.
yeah, yeah,
And I suppose, like, again, I'm reflecting. I'm like, I feel like I'm allowing less and less of these spaces to like just completely just have that all or nothing, as it just come off, right? Have
mm,
that time off. I'm like, God, I can't think back to where that is. But I know that also in the meantime, I'm like thinking, well, I've gained, you know, I've going more into online coaching. That's obviously growing, and I've become a pro. And as I mentioned in a previous podcast, it's like every decision now has a bit more weight that I'm making.
mm,
Even that if I've just applied that in my head, because I know that you still just do the same shit that you need to do as a bodybuilder, but I'm like attaching this thing to it. It's like,
yeah,
well, I'm a pro. I need to uphold myself as a pro. Da, da, da,
mm.
da. I did, da, 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 da. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. And back to the earlier conversation of the podcast, I suppose this is where you can really shackle yourself in, right,
yeah,
to a process, because you're like, okay, cool. This is my identity. These are the standards that I uphold to fulfill that identity, and coming off from it. Again,
yeah,
you are a product of what you do consistently. So one day off is not going to make a change, but fuck,
So,
you'd be like,
so the,
am I representing that identity? And that's
uh,
probably what's giving that tight feeling.
the question there, I suppose, then is, the big question is, can you have your cake and eat it? You know?
I think at the level that we all want to operate at, no.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you are casual with it, fair enough. But there's a reason why all of us have achieved stuff in this sport.
Yeah.
There's a reason, right? And it's, do you know what? It's a bit ironic, really, because it's the very thing that changed my life is when I quote unquote locked in. It changed my life for the better.
Yeah.
Everything in my life got exponentially better in terms of money, health, well-being, relationships. Everything got better when I started to take things seriously in my life. Blah blah blah. But as you just mentioned there, Jack, this whole shackled feeling, like it's almost like it's great, but then also you need to have the ability to be able to switch on and off. Like because
Yeah.
like 100% of anything is great, but then there also
Yeah.
needs to, you're going to experience burnout. And right now, I definitely feel like I can't, or I certainly would struggle to let go. I
I
don't know. I don't know
I
how to get
feel
out of it.
like that when I suppose when it gets too much, this is where you get people who do like a fucking U-turn. I think this is why Donny Yates probably went a bit crazy after he retired, and he's like partying a lot and fucking doing God knows what, right? Because he was like super duper,
Yeah.
and I suppose like okay, it's like a pressure valve.
Yeah.
It's either
Mm,
you blow at some
Mm.
point or maybe you try to release the gas along the way.
yeah.
But it's also what level do you want to operate? And also, is that sustainable for you as a person to operate to that level? Because it's understanding that everything has a trade-off. There is. So if you're wanting to be, I don't know, a multi fucking millionaire entrepreneur, like super duper successful, okay, there's probably not going to be as much room to have balance or these time off and shit like that. Or if you wanted to be like a fucking um Michael Jordan or whatever the fuck it is, it's like okay, there's the trade-off is even less balance than that.
You know,
Um,
do you
yeah,
know
it's
what? I've got on this subject. I think it's quite interesting as well, right? Because I don't know about you, but I've got clients and I've even got friends that I know that. What I want to say is, I think it's important to lock in and give 100% of your time into something if you want to achieve something, right? Which we've all done to an extent. Okay. And I would advise that for younger people who are watching this or whatever. That's what I would advise you. If you really want to be good, then you have to fucking apply yourself, right? But there are plenty of people that do and don't seem to get the end result.
we're
And
saying this. Yeah.
yeah, I feel bad almost for people. So I've quite literally got clients, and they might watch. And there's no one in specific, but I've got clients, and they literally carry their Tupperware with them, and they're fucking. They buy all the gear, they buy everything they've got, and
Yeah.
their physiques are very, dare I say it, mid.
We
You
said this
know,
earlier, didn't we, Jack? That's what me and Jack were
Yeah.
talking about earlier. Exactly that.
But I feel like
Exactly that.
there's going to be a
but you're missing
difference
out. You're missing
between
out on life.
necessary and unnecessary sacrifice of suffering, right? Because some people just have unnecessary apply unnecessary suffering to themselves, where it's like they over diet for a show and it's at the
Right.
detriment, or they'll fall. And I've done this in the past, like, where you're force feeding when you don't need to in the off season, it's at your detriment, or you're overtraining or whatever the fuck, and you can apply a lot of effort to not making results. So this is where you have got to fine tune. And this is why I do like bodybuilding because it does sort of hold you accountable to being balanced in the sense that you can't overdo it because you won't be good at it. You need
Mm.
to
Mm,
be chilled, right? You can't overthink it to the point where you're super duper stressed because again, it's at its detriment. You can't overeat or undereat. You can't overtrain, undertrain.
mm,
It sort of holds you accountable to find and walk in that balance within it. And
yeah.
it's as I said to Mark, the people that do well at this are doing the things that need to be done and not overthinking that. And they're the people, that aren't overthinking and do what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I agree on that one. Like, there's a balance. If you undereat, then you're just going to be skinny, not enough muscle. If you overeat, you're going to be too fat. But I think I'm talking more like genetic potential.
Genetics,
Look,
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think yeah, there's guys that again, I'm just going to fucking say it. I'm not going to caveat it. I'm just going to say it.
Hmm.
There are guys who just don't have it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Whatever it is, they don't have it, right?
Yeah.
And they are putting 1,000% fucking effort in, and you're like, I
Look,
know
you feel bad
sometimes
for them.
you need to realize that you are
Yeah.
sacrificing life to be very, very 5 out of 10.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. It's like
And
someone.
I think you need the self-awareness for that.
Yeah, I think it's like people. It's like someone who's trying to become a world-class singer and they can't sing,
Mm.
right? And they're trying all, they're spending all that time.
Vocal
Uh,
coaches.
yeah. This is where you've got to have an element of self-awareness, right? Um, which is tricky because you've got to spend enough time to actually see what your genetics do and what the potential is, right? Um, and this
People
is
lack the
where
ability, mate. People lack the ability, though, I think.
I suppose for me, I haven't had a plan B. This is like I want to do bodybuilding. I want this to be my thing. So I can't. It's going to be hard for me to go. You need to have a plan B. You need to have an alternative because in my head I was like, okay, but
Hey,
then
Jack, do you remember me asking you? I think on the last one, where it was just you and me talking, and you said that you didn't think that you were very good early on. And when I
yeah,
look at your physique, I think that you've got some of the best potential of anyone on my Instagram. And again, I know I've sucked you off already, so we'll leave it at that. Like, no, but yeah, I actually mean it. Your physique is phenomenal, and I think that you
thank
can
you.
go as far as you want to go, right? So
Yeah.
now my question is to Mark. Mark, when you were coming up, let's say 18, 19, 20, 21, did you know that your genetics was somewhat favorable, or did you think that you were shit? What did you think?
Uh, I just had a really fucking dead set mentality, if I'm honest with you. I was like, I mean, yeah, you have people telling you that you're, but I was still very young back then. And again, I did used to compare myself to a lot of my peers, and there weren't
Mm.
many. And I just thought it was because I was so dedicated and I was so obsessed. It's what took me above everyone. But I do also think, now there is obviously a level of genetics that were involved where I had a little bit of the head start, should we say, or the
Mm.
the um the good bits. But yes, to answer that fully, I mean, I didn't think I was the best back then, 100%. I just really fucking enjoyed it, and I was just going to keep doing it until I became better. And
Okay.
no, I did actually doubt myself a lot, but um, yeah,
It's funny. So,
it,
so you and Jack doubted yourself more in the younger years.
yeah,
I mean, for sure.
I think my ignorance, I actually used to big myself up more. Like in my head when I was younger, and ironically, I was way worse, obviously. But I was one of them. I'm one of them people that can be lean easy. Like
right,
I never watched my diet, and I always had a six pack, even through school and stuff like
right.
that. And I used to think I was way better than I was. And then now, ironically, I am very aware that my genetics let me down, like being so tall and stuff like that. When I was younger, I thought that my genetics were quite favourable, to be honest. So it was like,
Right.
and actually, it spurred me on because I thought to myself, "God, you've always got a six pack. Like, actually, if you tried, maybe you could be like good. Oh, okay, yeah. It spurred me on.
Well, I had a lot to do with the fact that I was always kind of one of the smallest in the lineup. That hit me on very early on. I realized that from the get go, that I'd have to come out with some fucking stupid conditions to be able to at least stand out.
Yeah.
So that was always something that I drilled myself on, was conditioning, because I knew size was never going to be my favorite anyway. So that's the
Okay.
one thing that
Yeah.
kind of always went against me also. But then, you have hope when you have the smaller guys who have gone right to the top. So
I
that
think
was
the thing
another
with you,
thing.
I think the thing with you, I remember the first time I saw you, Mark. I saw you on stage. I didn't know who you were. I saw you on stage at FitX, maybe 2022, maybe
Yeah,
at
yeah,
Manchester.
22. Yeah, 22.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw you there, and I saw you win. And I remember thinking, yeah, the thing that stood out for me for you was your posing and you're a shape guy, what I like to call a
yeah,
shape guy, and
100%.
you put a lot of effort into your posing, so you stood
Yeah,
out to me.
right. Thank you.
No, I mean, so
It
I
worked.
think that was the thing.
Cheers, man.
It wasn't like incredible size, incredible condition, but your overall package, you had like a professional package, so to speak.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that, especially after those few shows, especially those years, 22 and 23. A lot of people were saying, I even had people that I've worked with saying that after
Yeah,
that they thought I was going to turn pro instantly. And it took a few years after, but they thought some of them thought I was already pro when they met me, just because
yeah,
of my presentation skills and all that.
yeah, definitely,
And
definitely.
I think that's, like I said, that's what the standout thing for me was. But yeah, I understand that. I get that. Totally get that.
You're a shape guy.
Yeah, one
Is
million
that a
percent.
thing?
1 million. But it is
A
now.
mass guy or a shape guy?
I like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Mark the
I'd say
shape guy.
Jack, you're actually a bit of both.
But
When I
both,
when I when I
100%.
look at your physique, I say Jack's more of a mass guy, but actually you've got that small waist as well. So
Yeah. He's like a somatotype, isn't he? But like the mixed somatotype. You've got
Yeah,
the kind of ectomorph and endomorph mixed in.
correct.
Jack's the shape of mass guy mixed in.
100%.
Yeah, see, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, um, I'm neither. You know what I
But
mean?
you know what's cool, man? You can move too, man. I've seen that
Oh,
the
fuck me,
stuff you
yeah.
do. That just complements it all, Jack.
Oh, wow, yeah, good
Yeah,
point.
Now I'm sucking you off.
fuck. Yeah, I appreciate you guys, man. It's
Is
so
that screen
weird.
big enough for your head there, mate?
No, mate, but
Whoa.
imagine having that mass and being able to do a fucking flip.
I know, it's mad.
Yeah,
Jesus.
And the
honestly, I'm like,
robotic moves are just like, man, this is awesome to watch. Fucking
yeah,
brilliant.
man. I see. It's crazy how different we look at ourselves, isn't it?
Yes.
And we analyze what the crack is because I'll still be thinking. I'm like, hmm. I'm just gonna. This is why I've had to just switch off what I actually detach myself what I actually think. I go. I've just got to do. I
Don't
see
think, just do,
more.
right?
Yeah, just do fuck around, find out, right? See how you do, right? Without thinking, "Oh, how am I going to do this, whatever. I'm just going to trust that I'm going to be okay at this process.
Yeah,
Um, that's where I've got to rather than actually being conscious of the level or where I'm at, the potential, whatever, which is strange. It's a very weird one because I started off like being really weak and really small in the gym. And I think there's going to be an element of that that will just stay right in my head, right? Because I also got told like you don't have good genetics and blah blah blah. But it's also unconscious of the mindset around that of like, cool, if I don't have genetics, then I have to have a work ethic and approach. I have to, right? That's got to be the case because if I want to do anything in this, that's my only things that I'll have.
yeah.
So I don't know, maybe there's an attachment with that. So it's like I suppose like when I hear like what you guys say, I'm like, I obviously appreciate it, but it's like it's wild to me. I'm like, um, you fucking I'm like, you're talking about me? Like, what the fuck? You know?
But are you not able to objectively see like when you see like that front double that you pull, and like you must
I
you
mean,
Yeah.
must sort of see it.
Oh,
well, yeah, did this, don't get me wrong, there's certain times which I think we all have where it's like, that's cool, right? We look at ourselves and like, that's cool. But we also don't always go, that's really cool, right? I think that you have moments where you could go, I like that shot on me, or like me in this lighting, or whatever.
Few and
And
far
it's like,
between, right? Few and far between.
yeah, and this is where I'm like, I I just have it in my head. I'm like, cool. Just like there'll be moments where I'm like, oh, that looks shit. I'll
Yeah,
have moments where I'm like, okay, that looks cool. So when I suppose this can apply to life if you want to get really philosophical. When you have these moments, you need to acknowledge that that also contributes to that moment, and
right.
that helps you be more there. You're
Yeah.
like, and you just look at it more objectively. You're like, cool.
The lows create the highs, don't they? Without the lows, you don't
Yeah,
really get the highs.
yeah. I mean, it's like it's also acknowledging that. Or I tell myself if I look at my physique and I'm like, I'm thinking it's looking shit. I'm like, well, it's not disappeared from the last time you felt good about your physique.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a you problem, right? Um, and it's
How many
just,
how many times have you retrospectively looked at your physique, and in that moment you didn't like it?
oh
Six
yeah,
months later, you're like, oh wow.
you
yeah,
pull
yeah,
out the
yeah. Look at
old prep
pictures.
photos and
Yeah.
shit, and you're like, I hated the shot when I took it, and you're like, I actually like the shot. I do it with my fucking check-in photos, to be
How
fair,
about like
you know.
specific poses? There's a pose that you really want to do and you think it looks good, and then when you see it, you're like, actually, that's fucking pretty fucking basic, pretty shit.
Yeah, yeah,
I've pulled a few, like even on stage, and I thought, having practiced them and nailed them in the exact same way and looked good while I was like maybe practicing whatever. But when looking back at them, I'm like, nah, that actually doesn't work.
yeah.
It's
Of
like
course.
fucking hits you that.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. I
But I'll
suppose.
say there's so much that goes on there that like when you're doing a posing routine,
Yeah.
it's you can hit certain shots, excuse me, certain shots, but you might not necessarily be squeezing your legs fully,
Yeah.
or you might not be holding your midsection fully. And if a photo is taken at like a split second
Yeah.
wrong time,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
or at the wrong angle,
Yeah.
at the wrong
Yeah.
angle, and all of a sudden you look.
Yeah. 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 It changes the way you think about the whole thing, doesn't it?
100%.
Yeah, it does. Like
Yeah.
a slight different angle, and you're fucking shite.
How can I just
Yeah.
squeeze that left ab a little bit tighter?
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I definitely had them moments. It's
Yeah,
crazy, isn't it? It's such a wild
I
thing.
used to wreck my head about my transitions. Like I used to really give myself a hard time about that. Nobody gives a shit, but they do make a difference and they obviously
yeah,
polish things up. But
They do.
I used to watch videos of my transitions and be so fucking pissed off about my hand movements. Like, what
yeah,
the fuck? You know what I
The
mean?
thing is, mate, it's that. The irony is, it's that makes you good at it,
yeah.
right? It's by being overcritical and over conscientious, like of just of
Hmm.
those things, whatever you're super critical of. It's not the shit where you're like, it's all that'll do, right? It's all right. It's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Like, it's the stuff that you're paranoid that's going to be
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah.
That you actually end up being good at because you were
Yeah.
fucking paranoid. It's like
Yeah,
whatever you're paranoid of getting wrong, the irony is it's the opposite. You know, it's like I suppose an anorexic person paranoid of being fat,
Yeah.
right? Or vice versa,
Yeah.
right? Um, or someone who's paranoid about being a bad parent and the best parent in the world because they're like, they're trying to do everything to be, you know,
Yeah,
that
man.
that good. It's like
I say this to my clients actually. Like, they get annoyed that they're not where they want to be, and I'm like, it's a good thing. It's a
Mm.
good thing because it keeps you hungry.
yeah,
It's a good
yeah,
thing. Like, it
and I
doesn't feel
think
like a good thing, but it is.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
and I
agree.
think it's important, right, to be critical.
Yeah.
It is important to be critical. It's important, because I always want to know what shit I need to do better, right? That's like I thrive off that shit, because I know that's the only way to get to improve, right? When I'm looking at myself, and I've been coaching myself, and I'll be like, okay, cool, you can work on that. That needs to improve, blah blah blah.
Mm,
And a lot of people will sort of overstress. It's like, oh no, you should be too harsh or too critical. Yeah, you could definitely get to that point where you're doing it to your own detriment, right? Where I suppose you're like, oh, I'm never going to be good enough at that thing, so you don't even try to do the fucking thing, right? I
Mm.
understand, like you can shit talk yourself to the point where you've got like a bad mental health type of shit. I
Yeah.
understand that, but I also think the opposite. If you're like trying to yes man yourself and enable yourself too much, you open the door to be um not as good as you can be, really.
yeah,
And I
definitely.
think that is
I'm still
important.
here.
I,
We
I
see
think
you, man. We see you,
I'm
bro.
still here. Yeah. Sorry, someone's
We
trying to
got
put
you,
my
bro.
phone on do not disturb. There we go.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
yeah, I think not having yes men around you is important. There's plenty of people that I think like in their local gym they might be the best, right? Or they might be good or
Yeah,
whatever. Or compared to
yeah.
their mates, they're pretty good.
Mm.
And they'll have a overinflated perception of themselves. Have you guys ever heard of something called the Dunning-Kruger effect?
Rings a bell, right? Can you remind me?
The Dunning-Kruger effect is basically the lower level you are, because you don't understand the level, you overinflate your own level.
Yeah.
And then the more you understand something, the more you know how good the level is, therefore
Yes.
you underplay yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. The more you know that you don't know.
That's Einstein.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, mate,
yeah.
I'm telling you, the Dunning-Kruger effect. Like lower level people tend to overinflate their ability and flipped.
Yeah, yeah. God, that makes sense, man. It 100%
So
makes
does.
sense.
So
Because you
does.
look, you see, it's like when you get to bodybuilding and you see the levels, right? Competing's
Mm.
a big one, right? You see the levels, or you go, God, I remember going to. Have you ever watched a pro show where someone's just turned pro and they're like, wow, they're great. You see the amateur show, they've just turned pro, they've won the whole thing, they go straight into a pro show, like,
Yeah.
they're great, and then you're like, ah,
Oh,
Oh,
oh my
okay.
God,
Oh, okay.
that
you
was
know,
me. That was me.
levels.
That was
But
fair.
it's
That was
like
me.
shit, you know, it's fucking
Yeah,
absolute levels. Like,
Uh,
obviously, I had that massively when I fucking went against big boys, you know.
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I was like, but I was also like, because of having notorious the way I was like, I know I'm not gonna fucking even,
yeah,
you know. But it's still crazy to see the levels. You're like, wow,
yeah.
this
And
month is
lower level
taller than
guys
I
don't get
thought it
it,
was gonna
man.
be.
Nah,
Lower level guys don't get it.
No,
You've literally stood on the same stage as Chris Bumstead, you know, and to a lot of people, that's like someone who's in a goat talk. I mean, I personally wouldn't call him a bodybuilding goat, but like in terms of classic bodybuilding, he
yeah,
is.
yeah.
And you've stood on the same stage as him. So if anyone knows a level, it's fucking you.
Yeah, there's other greats there too, man. There was plenty there, Jack, and
Yeah, yeah,
that was
Sean
something else.
Corrida.
That yes,
Yeah, but I'm like, but I also wanted that. I wanted that so much. I wanted to be like sentenced to my death, you know,
fucking
die at the
life
hands of
goals,
a
man.
worthy opponent,
Yeah,
you
100%.
know, because
yeah.
that's the perspective. That's what I love.
That's
I
a
love
story to
this.
tell
It's
your
like
grandchildren. That though, bro. Think about
for
it.
sure, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. There's that, and that's where again you just gotta. That was one of those impulsive things where you're like, I'm gonna do this shit, right? I'm not gonna overthink it. We're gonna do this shit. But
Yeah.
it's also like that's I want to gain perspective. I want to be a small fish in a big pond rather than the other way around.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I want these levels because that's how you fucking grow. I want to
Yes.
understand what
Love
it
that.
is, where
Fucking love
how
that.
far I am from the actual best. Um, I, because I want to know. Because if I can see it, I can touch it. You know, that's
Did you ever stand side by side with any poses with him?
we did the pose down.
Yeah, so I've seen
Um,
that. I've seen it.
yeah, and I was next to Sean Clarida for that, and that was mental.
Was it
You
Martin
know,
Fitzwater as well? Wasn't he there
yeah, Martin
on that
Fitzpatrick,
one?
yeah,
You
yeah,
were like talking the side of the stage, weren't you? All three or four of yous.
yeah. It was yeah. There was a moment when we walked off stage after the prejudging and me and Stu Bone were the last ones out, and he just like tapped me on the shoulder. He just gave me a nod, and I was like,
Ah,
oh, it's my dad. You know, I was like, that's one of those where you just never fucking forget, man.
Yeah,
it's
of
a
course.
Um,
legend.
but I'm like, but this is where I was like, this is why I've done this shit, is so I can create memories like that, right? Is
Absolutely.
where I'm like, I can't wait to do more of that shit,
Mm.
where I can, yeah, that's where I also remembered, like, I'm very much a fan. I'm
You
very
know
much a
what?
fanboy.
Yeah, it's one of those right pinch me moments as well, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, it is,
I,
man.
I'm. I mean, this might not be something totally relevant to that, but I can kind of relate into the sense. I remember, obviously, I was working with Liam Hemsworth, and it's a little known fact that my son, his name is Thor, right? My little boy's name is Thor, but with a Welsh kind of a twist on it. And I'm sat in. Obviously, I can't say too much about these things, but I could say this, I'm sure. But I'm sat one day in Liam's back garden with just me and his brother Chris and a couple of their mates, and I'm just lying there thinking, they're all sunbit. I'm thinking, the fuck. And then
Yeah.
there's a moment in my head saying, do I tell him what my son's name? Do I go there? I went, nah, not gonna be that guy. So in the whole
Yeah.
8 months that I was around him, never once told him.
It's it's crazy, isn't it? Because it's like you want to say it, but it's also you know that they hear it all
Yeah,
the time, right?
if
And
you're to be
it's
that
like
guy, then aren't you? But
Yeah, yeah.
is there a way for me to say it and like
not sound
for
weird.
them to know that I really mean it
Yeah.
amongst the
Yeah.
other people? It's like I'm an actual true fan, you know.
But you know,
Uh,
you want to be on a level with them. You don't want to be
yeah,
you want
that
them to
guy.
view you as a professional and someone
Yeah.
Yeah,
that they respect as well.
that's
So
it, man.
you don't want to put them on a pedestal above you, but in your mind, you very much are.
Well, yeah, because it's also crazy to see you've only witnessed these guys through online or through movies or whatever the fuck it is. So you're seeing them at that level where you're actually having a conversation with them.
Like,
That it's
you
like,
might have been
God,
watching
this
his
is
YouTube yesterday, then next thing you stood
yeah,
next to him on stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
crazy. It's
Crazy.
like wow, but yeah, and, that experience for me did highlight like everyone's just people,
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're all
yeah, yeah.
people, we're all people just
That kind of circles back to what we were talking about earlier. Like just because we live this life and we portray a certain image for our businesses, we're still people.
Yeah,
Everyone's just people, right?
I think,
You know?
yeah. What stood out for me when you said that self-awareness thing is for the level that we're in our lives and our careers. I mean, the thing that kind of ties that self-awareness thing together is something called, for us, it is hindsight. Because
Yes.
we've got that different kind of hindsight that just normal average Joe doesn't quite have, and we've
Yeah.
got a
mm,
different level of that. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I find just to whilst we're going back to looping back to that, I remember one thing I was wanted to sort of mention. When you were on about like, can you have your cake and eat it?
Mhm.
Um, it's like people will uphold themselves to a standard to get to a certain place and achieve a certain level of success in a particular process, right? But how many times have we seen people go, right, cool, now we have balance and then put their foot off the gas, and then we get something like a fucking Conor McGregor, right?
Mm,
Where they're like, they cannot regulate that shit, right? They're like, okay, now
Ah,
now it's time to breathe because I've been so, and then it's like, oh wow, I've gone too much. This just feels too good. How can I even negotiate with myself to go back to
mm,
that there, where it's like it's just brutal fucking um, relentlessness
mm.
and suffering towards something.
mm.
It's like, how do I negotiate that when
I have experienced this.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, hundred
I
percent.
I think sometimes like I can't lift what I used to be able to lift. And part of it is getting like my joints don't allow me to, or whatever. But I think to myself, how did I used to do that? How did I have that mindset of complete fearlessness?
Mm.
So I think back to like how the fuck was I ever able to do that? Like without a spotter, I'd go in and load 5 plates on a bench without a spotter. And like when I think of that now, I'm like, that's nuts.
Yeah,
But only like because I was so locked in and so whatever. But now I don't know. I just how the fuck was I ever that guy? I don't know.
Do you know
because
what? Also, other things can interfere with how you look at things. And again, I'm going to say it: social media. You hear stories, you see people getting injuries and shit. Like we were completely ignorant to that shit before
yeah,
back in the day. And
Yeah.
that's how. That's how.
but like every injury is like a fucking your mindset changes. That is,
Yes.
especially if it's a big one. You're like, but you've also got to be pretty dumb to go and experience a decent injury and go, I'm gonna completely ignore that,
Yeah,
and go and do exactly what I want,
yeah. Some of us have been pretty lucky, haven't we?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. And I think when you've got one that's like, wow, this is not going, this is there, fuck. That it humbles you, man. It humbles you. Like,
Yeah,
this is where, again, you experience the consequence of something. It's like, cool, that's humbled me, but with the humility comes wisdom. And then with the wisdom comes like a better approach, more balanced approach, I suppose,
yeah.
you know?
I will say though, with age as well, a bit like the again, circling right back to what we're talking about with the going out stuff, like how over the years I've changed and I'm not able to like let go. I think that part of the reason why I've fallen a little bit out of love of this whole process, which I mentioned on several podcasts back, is because I'm not able to do what I used to be able to. So as much as I've learned from the mistakes, and you can say, "Oh, well, now I'm better because I've learned from it." I don't know because there was something about that like carefree, like naivety that made it so incredible.
Do you know what, mate?
Now every time I train, I'm like, "Ugh, be careful, be careful,
Do
be
you know what,
careful."
Right,
mate?
right, right, right.
I
Okay.
feel that. I feel that, right? I feel that in my fucking bones when you just said that. Because yeah, there's the golden age of training where like, I remember going in and you just go, crazy and shit like that. And you'd be having a good time. And it's like, it's hard to guarantee um that you'll fucking survive doing a session like that. But it's also, yeah, your training's got to change, right?
Mm,
And that the process changes. It sort of evolves, right? As you evolve, whatever, your approach has to slightly change.
Train
Unfortunately, what
smart, not
happens is,
hard.
yeah, but I think
uh,
that's like overall, right? Um, And I'm like, this is where it's like, I think, because this is what I've been through, right? So I'm just sort of talking out loud when I say this. I think as that changes, you've got to reassess what you enjoy from the process of what your why is and blah blah. And I think what's sort of helping me with that to know that okay, I've got to train differently and I've got to sort of fine tune and I've got to be more diligent in certain areas, etc., etc. Um, I'm like, okay, I could just get addicted to progress, seeing progress and measuring it, I suppose, you know? Um, and I'm like, cool, a different approach. There's going
Okay.
to be a different result from this because as much as there's been that blind fire approach and you just train with that enjoyment, it's like, cool. Now, if I just add more tangible
Mm.
metrics
So yeah,
with
metrics. That's
this,
that's what we're talking about. Seeing metrics, seeing something that you can see a progression of. Right.
yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, cool. I could get. It's like I had this health phase and I sort of gamified it in the sense of, right, cool, I'm gonna be just do my blood pressure a lot more and I'm gonna be trying to get my heart rate down, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, right, cool, let's see these metrics change. Duh, duh, duh. Um, so I suppose there's redefining the shit that you're getting out of it, but also just setting different goals within the process. That's it's a very tricky one, isn't it? It's a
You,
very tricky one.
you just said there, like getting addictive to like progress. There are certain things that I've thought over the years that I actually don't know if I'm fully addicted to progress. I'm addicted to just enjoying myself, which I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
So if somebody told me, because at the moment I train 5 days a week, and I would say that I train sort of like mid-level of volume, mid-level roughly, not particularly high, not particularly low, and I just enjoy it. If somebody told me scale it back to 4 sessions a week and scale your total work volume to like half,
Mm.
because that's going to be better for you, it might be, but I just don't want to do it. So even it
Yeah.
like
So
I would choose enjoyment over progress in that instance.
I agree with you
that's
on that one.
tricky.
I've tried that. I actually have tried that, and it's a frustrating process because in your head you are. It doesn't matter what, like you cannot see it if you're making progress or not because the change is way too much for you to be able to see if there is actual
Yep,
physical change from that because you're so obviously dead set in your ways anyway.
yep.
So I have tried that, and I was constantly like telling myself, "No, I'm not changing. I'm not, progressing. I'm not." Fuck it. I was just like, yeah. I tried it for a long time. I'm just like, nah, fuck it. I'm just gonna go how I feel.
Yeah. That's kind of it. Going by
Yeah,
what feels good,
Yeah.
and even if it's not the most optimal way of doing it, yeah, I'm kind of content with that. You know.
Yeah, I get that.
yeah. I suppose this is what I'm going through because I've literally come out of that phase where I've had a more intuitive approach, as I was saying to Mark earlier, on the podcast, where again that's allowed me to explore more things that are more favorable and refine my approach for what I like. But it's also allowed me to go and see like, right, this is where it's not actually ideal, and this is the shit that's going to spin my wheels. So it's like, I, I suppose he's trying to do this in a way that is going to be productive, but also not so fucking boring that or shit or unenjoyable that you don't want to do it. And that does look different from person to person, I suppose. But I think everyone could do bodybuilding in a way that they hate.
Mm.
Um, you know, and it's like some people like want to do like fucking it's like high volume shit. Some people love doing that and some people hate doing that. Some people
Yeah.
would hate doing low volume training. And it's like those high volume guys that are on the Olympia stage, you're not going to go, hey, train low volume
Yeah, it's
because
wrong.
that's small. And
Mm.
it's equally like the opposite. The low volume guys who love training like that. It's like, unless it's probably injuring you or whatever the fuck it is. But I know that I've had to really refine, become more diligent um, in attempts to really make the most of what I'm doing. I know for me, I'm like, I've had to go, okay, I need to think the long term, what's going to really benefit what I'm trying to do long term. I need to be excited by that. I need
Yeah.
to refine.
I mean, ultimately, what you're doing with the whole metrics thing, anyway, it's all results driven, regardless how we do it and what you're
For sure,
doing.
yeah.
It's all ultimately results driven. So
So
it's just a
I'll,
different way
I'll
of doing it.
I'll tell you guys how I'm doing that. I'm going to sort of not. I really told people this, so I suppose this is why I'm announcing this.
Let's
But I've
go.
started. I'm gay. I'm just kidding.
We knew. It's all right.
No,
We knew.
I'm actually pregnant, man. I'm gay and pregnant.
Oh.
Uh, so I've got a coach now.
Oh,
I think you said this already. I think I know who it is as well.
Right, yeah. I was going to
Yeah.
say
I
Ryan
didn't know.
from the previous podcast. Ryan will probably know,
Yeah.
right? Because on the previous podcast, I was saying that I was having conversations. So I've started working with Kuba, and
Ah.
I'm like, it's quite interesting, right? Um, because I his approach is super, blah, like you down to the minute, of every day. You want to be structured, eating at the same time, going to bed at the same time, blah, blah, blah. It's clockwork. And I'm like, there's different, I suppose that's a new level of being locked in. And there's been a difference from my approach, like last year, where I was very intuitive with things, right? Um, so I'm like, okay, this is new, but because I haven't been coached for so long, and there's going to be novelty to this. This does excite me,
Mm.
right? So I suppose I was stuck in the place of I know that there's got to be more refinement or probably an altering of something because the approach that I've had that has taken me so far is not working anymore. But it's
Okay.
also knowing, like I would push up too heavy. Obviously, I've mentioned this for a few podcasts, and and it's like, okay, what would just the excitement of the novelty of like, cool, I'm going to be working with someone again. And it's going to be this new approach. It's going to be very logic driven. Let's see what that's like,
Yeah.
see if that also
I- i-
helps
Is that where
keep
you were at?
spark there.
Is that where you were at? Like you felt like you were at that stage now that you.
I felt like I was at a stage where because one of the issues with me not wanting a coach is I couldn't. I liked trying things myself, and I liked much to the beat of my own drum,
Yeah.
right? And I knew it would work, and I know that there's been times where I've worked with people, and I've done an approach it just doesn't suit me, right? And I don't also want to work with someone who they're just like, yeah, they're not really paying attention. They're just changing random shit. Because I'm like, well, I could do that better, right?
Yeah.
And I will. So that was my reluctancy, but I'm also aware that I think I've been coaching myself to so long where I could overthink
Hmm.
and I'm like trying to over optimize and I'm making these slight little changes. I'm like, well, maybe I'm over queuing my training or I'm
Yeah.
like overthinking certain things. I'm like, I think having this happen where I just get aligned a little bit differently,
Yeah.
get some external perspective to just,
Yeah.
could be helpful. And I think Cube's going to be useful for that because from the conversations that we had, I'm like, cool, he seems to be pretty locked in with his shit and what he would like to do. We'll see that. And it's like with the approach that he has in mind, I'm like, that's hard for someone to really overlook the process too much, right? because I know he values those same things at a coach, and that's also why he's sort of self-coached before. We've had the same sort of mentality on that. So I
Yeah.
thought, cool, there's a few parallels there, and I think he understands where I'm at and what I'm wanting to get out of it. I seemed quite excited by it. Because you want to work with someone where you're not just a number as well, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of decent coaches out there. And it's like how much can you guarantee that
Mm.
you're actually going to
Yeah.
be paying attention? That was my reluctancy. So it's a very, very interesting one. Like I
Big
say,
step for you, that, Jack.
if yeah, man, it is because I've done most of this self-coached, and it's still fucking very early days to the point where we're still setting up stuff. Um, but like I know Cuba, I'm going to be like, describing how my shit's all right. So I'm like,
Do what you
okay,
must do.
I'm like, cool. I wonder what it's like to do it that way,
Yeah,
to
man.
that level, because I
To be
know
fair,
I'm overthinking it anyway, right?
it sounds like it's come at the right time for you.
Yeah,
Like
it does sound like that. Yeah.
you've explored the self stuff. You've been with coaches that didn't pay attention. You want that extra 5-10% that you may be missing out on potentially.
Hmm.
I wanted to actually put this to Mark now. For me, well, and I said it to Jack before.
Yeah.
The ultra minute details for me wouldn't work. That's not why I enjoy bodybuilding personally. And a coach like that personally wouldn't work. I'm not saying they're not good. I'm just saying for me personally. So what about you? Do you feel like that would be good or bad?
I've tried the different options. I think I've only been coached by three people max in my entire career. So most of my beginnings were all done self-coaching. So I only took the coaching route in 2022 when I came back into most of it. Um, do you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I do like the old school basic shit. I really do. It works well for me because I can think of just getting things nailed down without having to complicate stuff.
Yes.
But there was another, the factor of the complicated stuff, the scientific stuff, all that was pretty cool. But does kind of get a bit fucking. I just want to get on with it and
Yeah,
just do the work. So
yeah,
I'm not slating either of them, but if I'm honest, right, I think the first kind of the old school stuff did work better for me. Um, but then as I got more experience, and I think it was just a breath of fresh air to try all these different things.
Mm.
For example, just doing your fucking blood pressure and all this stuff that you never used to do before, just used to like wing it. And when all that kind of got introduced to me, I was on it because obviously when you're prepping out your head, these things can fill up the spaces in your mind to keep busy. So that was, I mean, I enjoyed it, but ultimately, I think I've gone back to what I know works. And
Mm.
unless I'm going to go into another higher level of things, which if I'm going to jump back into the prep and the show soon, then yeah, it's again for me, it's yet to be seen, just because I'm in that limbo at the moment of
Mm.
hmm
where I need to go with this thing, where I'm taking it. But
Hmm.
I have been thinking about, and I'm going to say it now, but yeah, I have been thinking of jumping into a show, soon. Not very soon, but
I had an
maybe,
inkling.
maybe sometime
I had
this
an
year.
inkling. There was more and more updates come in and stuff like that. I was thinking, oh, there you
But then
go.
Ibiza happened.
Yes.
You probably
Reminds
But
you
lost
of the
weight,
good
though, didn't you?
life.
You probably lost weight.
I
There
don't
you
know.
go.
I
You're
mean,
halfway there, mate.
I was eating very clean. I wasn't dieting as such. I was just eating really clean before going. I was doing my cardio every day, and then this week since I got back, I've just fucking haven't stopped eating.
Yeah.
Well,
So
you probably
yeah,
should bring that in for a show. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
maybe
It's probably
maybe
because you've
should,
not
yeah.
eaten for 3 days straight.
Something to do with it. Yeah, eating sand. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just a bit like what training split is the best or whatever. Like, I feel like I need to do what I actually enjoy, and do you know, I got a coach. I've only ever had one coach in my whole
Wow.
bodybuilding journey. One coach, and for about 18 months, and he wanted me to write stuff down. He wanted me to in between sets, like write a log
Uh,
book and that.
nah,
And I
that's
was
not for
just like,
me.
I can't, man.
That's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
for me.
See,
I'm
I
not a
haven't.
dork. I'm not a dork.
So I haven't logbooked. I tried logbooking for a year, and I haven't really. But I will also, again, this is where the intuitive. Well, I would
Yeah.
keep mental check of my of my lifts. Right, I'm videoing them.
Yeah.
There's a login with doing that, but writing it down.
Mm.
I haven't done that because I'm just too ADHD. Because I'm like, I can't even remember how many fucking reps I did. You know.
Yeah.
But saying that, obviously having a chat with Cuba, he was like, there's going to be a part where he is obviously, I am going to hand over the reins because that's the whole point.
Point. Yeah.
Because I don't want to overthink it to the point where, because that's the thing. I was sort of overcomplicating it, probably where it doesn't matter, and you know, simplifying where it does potentially.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but there's yeah, there's going to be like a partnership and not a dictatorship side of
Oh, okay.
things, right? Where because I think I would need that as well, where it's like I couldn't completely hand over the reins where I'm like, okay, there's going to be no bit of anything that I've learned of myself in this, because that'd be fucking quite hard, man.
Mate, that what you just said there, that's the reason why I don't have a coach because I feel like there is a trend. I don't know if it's a trend. I'm not even going to call it that. There is just most people in the industry, especially when it comes to peaking, they just want to fill up, be super full, bro. You can't be flat, bro. You can't,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's not me, mate. My physique, and I don't care what anyone fucking says. I've analysed the fuck out of my physique, and I absolutely look a bit better, a bit flatter. And
Yeah. We've said
if
this.
I went with a coach, if I went with a coach, they'd be filling me up. Because what? You're super heavy. You're 270 on stage. You need to be big. I'm like, no, mate.
Yeah,
Like
fuck that.
I need less food, not more food.
You want if you were to work with someone, you would want someone to just pay attention, right?
Yeah, it has to be kind of
To
tailored
yeah,
specifically
yeah,
for you.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
mean,
want to
and I
go.
mean specifically, you know what I mean?
yeah,
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 for
yeah.
sure. You don't want to go like, oh, you need to be super full. It's like, no, you want to be appropriately peaked, right?
Right.
For
What's best
you.
for your physique?
That is it. Yeah. So it's like, regardless of, you can't have right, this is a philosophy of like, oh, this guy does super full of everything. It's like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
what's going to be the best for the fucking physique, right? There's
Yeah.
been,
It's
I
almost
mean,
like, oh, like you're a super heavy. Okay, let me go and grab the super heavy protocol.
well, there you
yeah,
go. So what I mean is, it's
that's,
not just for your physique, but for your personality as well, for
yeah,
you
yeah,
as
yeah.
a bodybuilder, right?
Yeah,
Does that make
That,
sense?
yeah,
that's why, that's what's put me off working with people. Like,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah,
know I wouldn't do that, but like, because I'm like, I know what I'm doing with clients, right? I like what's happening.
yeah,
So my thought process is like, right, do it yourself. And I think now it's been so long doing it myself, I'm like, ah, okay, I need to probably have someone just like fucking take over for a little bit because potentially there's been a bit of objectivity lost, admittedly. But my reluctancy is that thing that Ryan said. It's like someone's like, okay, this is the protocol, boom, there you go, copy and paste, bam.
yeah.
And ironically, people could say, well, that's what a shit coach would do. But ironically, there's a lot of top coaches doing this.
Yep,
And that's, the unfortunate thing because, if you want to work with someone, you want to work with a top coach, right?
yep,
And so you go, right, I'm going to work with the top coach. But because they're a top coach, they've got so many clients
yeah.
to try and serve them all. That's like, they're not, they can't possibly be looking at your photos to that sort of intricacy. Um, it's a bit mental.
yeah. ChatGPT is taking over. I'm telling you this now because I've seen some plans, right, in my time, last kind of 12 months or so, and I have actually been really fucking surprised. And I've seen plans and I've gone and typed some specific things in the chat GPT myself. And guess what? It comes up with the exact same plan as this person has. And that's fucking funny, isn't it?
Yeah,
Does that make
right.
sense? Mm.
Yeah. But also, this is where 'cause people who don't know better will think ChatGPT would be like, okay, why not go to that? But the issue is they're prompting it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
obviously, a coach is you want. A coach is there to tell you, you not to tell it, right?
Right.
And that with the chat GPT, you'll be saying that and you'll be going, I feel flat today and blah, 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 you know? And chat
Absolutely.
GPT is,
Or what I mean is that this person has, or for example, there's a specific coach maybe has given one of his clients a plan, and you look at the plan and you go, "That's fucking," see, there's even some like bashes in the plan where you think that's straight away
yeah,
chat. So you've prompted this specific, you put some details into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT has given you the exact result that this person has. And I'm like, okay, so I can see that your coach clearly used ChatGPT to generate this
yeah.
for you. Um, I'm just wondering,
It's,
it's a thing.
yeah. The irony is the more popular it becomes, the more easy it is to see, right?
Yeah,
You know,
Mm.
the more people start using it, the more fucking, because you can see with captions as well,
yeah.
right? You can tell now with the captions that are being written, you're like, it isn't just this, it's actually this. And it's
Mm.
like, oh, absolutely chaotic. And it's like, fuck, you don't talk like that, bro. You don't talk like that. Like, do you know, I had a guy, I was at an event the other day. This is funny as fuck. Uh, so I was at an event the other day, doing stuff with illegal, and a guy, people were talking, a guy sent me a message saying, "Hi Jack, da, 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 I really want to be sponsored, blah 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 blah." I'd said this decently long message, right? But for some reason, he also sent the message to the videographer. Now, for the videographer, he didn't delete the chat GPT part of it as well. So it was like, here's a clean and polished message that sounds professional,
Oh,
right?
brilliant.
That sounds confident but professional. Um, and and it still had hijack, and I'm like, this guy, the videographer messaged me, was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "How crazy?" Because he sent that to you, but he's deleted the thing for me, and I'm like, "God, that's fucked, right?"
You know what,
He's
man?
not even deleted the part, the prompt. Jesus Christ!
Fuck, it's like I don't know. I got too much pride for that as well. Like, and things don't feel good if you didn't do them. Like
No,
when you do it, there's it feels satisfying, and just to hand that over to some AI, I don't know, man.
but
Ah, it's so
there's
fucking.
the reason people are like, oh, this will do the work for us, right? Let's write a message that's going to be professional or but I'll sound better, blah, blah, blah. One, that's not you. And when it comes to actually talk to you, you're not going to do anything like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Two,
yeah.
you're missing out a skill in actually writing the thing because then you're going to be thinking the thing to correct yourself, to make yourself sound professional. It's like I like sometimes writing captions are just waffling, right? Because I'm actually just, it's like a form of journaling and shit like that. And it's like,
Mhm.
it's making me think. And it's like that people are going to be missing out on that skill when they're doing it.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
they're doing it, they're not realizing that they're going to be missing out on the because they're like, I'm just going to fast track this process. It's going to be quick and easy. It's like, yeah, but that process is also going to be teaching you something.
I've I've
It's like
definitely
using
used
Rata.
to refine my shit. I'm not gonna lie. I've written stuff, written posts or captions and shit, and I've asked it to refine my stuff. I mean, 1,000,000%. Because the thing is, with me, obviously, I'm not using this as an excuse, but my first language is Welsh. I think in Welsh, so I don't really know the
Yeah,
best use of vocabulary sometimes to come out. So I have to use, things like that to help me refine stuff.
yeah.
Um,
But I
and
think that
I,
would be different from
yeah,
you going, hey, write me this caption.
well, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Completely. If you're going there, if you're writing it up to ChatGPT and you're going, help me refine it, you could probably go, so I can see those edits and da 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 da. Maybe
yeah.
I could write it up that way in the future. Oh, but if you're like,
Yeah, yeah.
write this thing for me, just write this thing, write a caption to this
But a
topless
message
photo,
though, fucking hell, a
yeah,
message.
yeah, mate. And it's like, he said hijack to this person, his name's not even fucking Jack, as well as that.
Yeah,
But it's
I
also
don't.
like
God, man, sorry.
it's also like using Retta, right? I think that's very similar, right? They're both quite newish.
Oh,
people using Reddit to completely take away any experience of being hungry. And I'm not
Yeah.
on about the people where, it's actually made for. I'm on about like I've had clients where they've just started a bit of a deficit. They're like, oh, can we use Reddit? I'm like, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
you need to feel hungry because you learn skills within that, and it helps you. It helps with your ambitions. It helps with your
Fucking
uh,
character building.
yeah.
character.
It has, isn't it? Yeah, it
It
is.
fucking is, man. That's
Fucking right it
exactly
is.
what it is. It's um
Transferable skill, right?
there
Yeah.
is transferable skill, and I'm not. Yeah, so I'm like, as humans, we're supposed to be hungry, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
When the issue is, if we vouch too much for convenience,
Mm-hmm.
we become complacent and wonder
Yeah.
why we're so fucking depressed, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
everything's too convenient, because we're supposed to be problem solving in life. That's what is defining about life is problem solving, overcoming it, and who you become in the process of problem solving.
Yeah, do you know what? When we make life too easy, that's when we get problems like we've got in modern society. That's why people
This
are
is
now worried.
exactly what I was going to say right
Yeah,
now,
man.
right?
Boom,
Because
boom, boom.
but like before, we didn't have to worry about.
Yeah,
Like, so we had
yeah,
lots of stuff to worry about. Now life's easy, so now we're worried about like transgenderism. Like,
And we're
who gives
always
a
going to look
fuck?
back. And we're always going to look back. Remember a
yeah,
time when blah blah blah. And this is
yeah.
why, because we
And
made it like
this,
that. We
We
made
made it
life
like,
we've
yeah,
easy.
yeah,
got
yeah,
too
yeah.
many. We've got too many options now
Yeah.
for convenience, right? And previously there wasn't an option, right? You had to do the fucking thing, but there's so many options. This is why people are struggling to stick to it. Jimmy Carr has a great quote where it's like life has never been so subjectively better, but so objectively better,
Yes,
but subjectively worse.
Yeah.
correct. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
because everyone's like, oh, it's so depressed. But there's never been so much opportunity, so much convenience, and blah blah blah. But it's the the opportunity to bitch out and to have something do
mm.
something for you and
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
There's a quote, isn't there? Like, tough times make strong men, easy times make weak men. Oh, I can't remember what the fuck it is, but yeah,
yeah,
I've seen
but
it.
yeah, you know what I'm on about, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And in a nutshell, yeah, like the very thing that you're trying to avoid is the very thing that makes you who you are, and it makes you a better
yes,
person,
Exactly.
right? Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So, like the actual sometimes the actual thing that you need isn't have the things that you want. It's actually refraining from them, and it's
yeah.
being really
Mm,
fucking disciplined. And that's why. Um, Like, if you went to Ibiza every fucking week, Mark, right? That's going
Mhm.
to be very different to doing it,
oh yes.
infrequently and going, wow, God,
Yeah,
that was defining because I've done that in a long motherfucking time and whatever, right?
yeah,
This is the reason why pizza tastes so much nicer after a fucking prep,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Rather than having it all the fucking time.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's
Abundance makes things a little bit dull, doesn't it? It just does.
Mm,
That's it. And that's why
Mm.
yeah.
you could easily be depressed at having a not very problematic life.
People have got it very easy, right? And they say they've got it so
Yeah,
bad.
and they're like, if you ever spoke to someone, you're like, God, you need problems. You need bigger problems, right? What
Yeah.
you're complaining about, you need
Yeah.
bigger fucking problems, right?
I sometimes check myself on this. Sometimes I'll be like I'll be down because like my knee hurts, and you're like, you'll be all right, man. You'll be all
Yeah,
right. You'll be
Yeah.
all right.
it's all right. Yeah, it's like, at least you can fucking walk. It's
Yeah,
just
man.
it's shit like
Mate.
that. But it's stuff like we all gotta check ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Because we never know what life is truly meant to be like as nature intended because
Oof, fuck me.
we'll
Hunter
never
gatherer
experience
style.
that. Yeah,
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 man.
yeah. You ever see documentaries, nature documentaries? That's like brutal as fuck with these
Yeah.
turtles on the beach, like,
Oh man.
they don't
Yeah,
even get a
yeah,
chance
yeah.
at life, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Fucking,
Are we there, are we?
yeah.
Yeah. Mate,
Love
well, it's
It's
it.
true. Like we're eating five
Fucking
meals a
love it.
day, going, "Oh, I'm depressed." Oh,
Yeah,
those
yeah.
turtles have got to run for their life from day
Yeah.
one.
yeah, man.
Some will never make it. Some will never
Yeah.
make it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah,
like a few hundred years ago, like we were throwing shit at buckets outside.
yeah.
Can you imagine walking down the road, walking down the street, and you had a bucket of shit thrown at you? You're like, "Fuck! I'm probably going to die of a disease now."
Oh,
And oh,
fucking
mate, and now you
hell.
got people moaning at mean words online.
Yep.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, oh, somebody said a bad word. It's like, fuck
yeah.
no. You're lucky you ain't got
Yeah.
shit on your head, you cunt.
Yeah.
Someone called me a faggot. It's like,
Toughen up for fuck's sake. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's like
Oh, fucking brilliant.
crazy. It's crazy,
Yeah.
isn't it? But it's like I think I don't know if people need to choose the hard shit, and people are like,
Yeah.
I don't have to. And that's the issue
See, I'm not gonna lie.
because
I'm not gonna make myself like I'm blowing smoke in my own ass or trying to be someone I'm not. But I like doing the fucking hard shit.
yeah, yeah, and I think
Satisfying, right? Satisfying.
I think you get to that conclusion once you've done enough hard shit that you know it feels good, right? You're like, wow, that feels really good. You know, again, this is the reason why we do bodybuilding, right? Because it's not like, hey, fucking starving to death looks, it feel, not, we're not starving to death, but like being really
Yeah,
hungry
yeah, yeah.
feels really
I
great.
guess it's like
No, we
I'm trying to
do.
make like the point I'm trying to make is that also I prefer cutting, dieting, prepping than I do to bulking. I prefer the
100%.
suffering side of things
$100%.
and
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
shoving
for sure.
abundant amounts of food. And I
Yeah,
really, weirdly just
yeah.
prefer
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'm
Low
a bit
energy, low
sadistic.
food. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
great.
I like.
sadism.
Yeah, I like myself when I'm doing that shit, right? I
Same,
like who I become. Like, wow,
We're
cool.
all the
That
same.
guy,
Yeah.
yeah, that guy's
same. Yeah.
ruthless. I like that guy. I like that vision of the guy.
I
Rather,
wake up at 5 in the morning and I've got this fucking go getter attitude when I'm on the
yeah,
bike.
Yeah.
And then in off season, I'm struggling to wake up at 8, 9. I'm
Yeah.
like,
yeah,
you
Mm.
know, it's shit.
mhm, yeah. You're like, oh, maybe it's too early to order that Domino's.
I'll
When's it
just eat.
opening?
Gonna hold
I'll just
off.
eat last night's leftovers. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's fucked. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's
I
crazy,
think
but
I
like,
think a lot of bodybuilders have got this same mentality. To be honest with you,
Yeah. Yeah. I
it's
think
it's
so.
but
def- it's it's deferred gratification.
yeah, that's it. That's
Deferred
it. And
gratification.
that's actually what people get mixed up. People, life isn't about being happy life, feeling good in life and whatever, isn't about seeking comfort and actually getting it. It is about it overcoming and solving problems. That's when you think back to the most defining parts of your life, you're not
Yep.
quite often you're referencing a hard time that you've overcome that's quite defining for you and
Yep.
you've changed because of it, right?
Yeah.
You think when you think back to your life, you're like, what was, what sticks out to me? What do I like, enjoy telling people? It's like,
Yeah, man.
there was this time that was really fucking hard and I really was able to do it and I'm quite proud of it. They're the times
Yeah.
that you're really proud.
There's
Uh,
direct correlation between how hard something is and how much respect it deserves, right? So the reason why we admire the best bodybuilders in the world, for example, is because we know what it took to get there.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
if
yeah,
it was easy to attain, the respect goes.
yeah,
True.
yeah.
The respect
But
goes.
I found that mentality also seep into bodybuilding as well, where people are trying to seek comfort and they're trying to find the easiest way to do it rather than being prepared to do what it takes, right?
Mm.
And when you see that, and I've seen that change bodybuilding or because of the people in it, the cream still rises to the top, right?
Yeah.
The people that really work hard are still there and they're still doing amazing stuff. But it's like, if you ever been coach or something, it's like, kind of again, the
Mm.
people now asking for fucking reta and shit.
Hmm.
And now like wanting the fucking I'm not saying reta can't be used at all, but using it as just straight from the gate when you've had no
Yeah.
experience dieting, it's like, oh man.
Yeah. Stop. You're trying to make it easy when, and as I say, what you just said, Mark. It's character building. It quite
Yeah.
literally is.
Yes, yes, yes.
You gain strength in character from becoming uncomfortable. You do. Overcoming adversity and discomfort is what it's all about. I remember seeing this study recently. It was conducted on mice. It's actually it's a very, very famous study. I can't remember what it's called, unfortunately, but they put mice into a house and they studied their behaviors and they gave them an abundance of food. Everything was there for these mice, so they no longer had to survive. They were just in this enclosure, and a lot of the mice were either like depressed, as in they were no longer trying to mate anymore because there was no requirement to. They stopped behaving like they wanted that they normally would because they had abundance.
Mhm.
It was conducted in like the 70s or something. It's actually very, very famous, and it was really interesting to see how they basically lost their fucking
Animal instinct, the drive,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
They lost their oomph for life because
yeah.
everything was so easy. And it's kind
Yeah.
of what happens in the Western world. That's kind of what's
Yeah,
happening, right?
that's it. That's
It's
it.
true. It's true.
And it's those people, it's the people, right? To sort of full circle what we were saying, why the podcast started, right? It's the people who need to loosen up more that tend to do better, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Rather than the
Yeah,
people
yeah,
that you
yeah.
have to try to push
Yes,
and tighten up, right? So it's like,
that's correct. You have to pull them back, if anything,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the people that you need to pull back, and you go, they're the
Yeah,
ones that tend to do better and get more
yeah,
shit done. There's also
correct.
another study with mice, right? What's for the studies of mice? It's quite an interesting one, right? So they had this mice, and they tied something around its tail. Um, and they put a block of cheese and they saw how much it pulled, right? Which that's the incentive. Now they did the same test again, but they had the scent of a cat behind it, and it
Wow.
pulled a lot further, right?
Mm.
Okay.
So,
There was a lot more
um,
potential in there, but they were not. They were not threatened, right?
hmm. So the cheese was like, yeah, it's cool. I'll go towards that, but the fucking being the fear,
Mm. Mm.
the urgency, boom, right? There's more urgency with that. So
Yeah,
from that,
yeah.
what we, you can sort of apply that. People need,
Yeah.
and people don't have enough shit where there's going to be a consequence of not doing something,
Hmm.
right?
Absolutely agree. Yeah.
And I think again, it's just trying to find because there's always a way to, well, there's more ways to sort of cop out. So you need some shit where you like. I mean, this is why I like sometimes put myself in a bit of I like creating a amount of urgency, right? So for my last prep, I was like, right, I'm going to do these shows, and I want to get this year, and I'm like, God, I've put that out there, so I've got to really stick to it.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I also remember when I was trying, I really want to move out to the place where I don't want to procrastinate on this, so I sent my notice to my landlord, and it was a month's notice,
Without
right?
finding anywhere else?
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh shit.
yeah,
Urgency.
and he accepted it. I was like, cool.
Shit.
Ah, fuck. So I was like, I've got to find a place to live this month. That month was December. I, I
Wow.
moved in. I moved in just after fucking
Oh,
Boxing Day.
fuck it
Just after
out.
Christmas. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And I was like, fuck. I was so stressful, but I got the shit done. I
Yeah,
found
yeah.
somewhere,
It's one way to
and
do it, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, I'm not saying everyone needs to do some crazy shit like but I think creating a matter of urgency
Mm.
gets you going, right? If you're feeling uninspired, potentially you want to incentivize yourself, yes, but maybe you just need to create a matter of urgency. Maybe you need to create a consequence from not doing the shit,
Hence the
you
danger,
know?
maybe.
Yeah,
The
sense of
threat.
Yeah.
danger. Yeah,
Most people who aren't competing, most like lifestyle clients, this is what they experience day to day. The consequence of them not sticking to their diet is well, there isn't one.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
So why would you, right? Well, I'm
yeah.
uncomfortable, but why? Who gives a fuck? Who gives
But
a
you've got,
fuck?
but if you've got a prep, right?
Yeah.
And you've got to be on stage and you've already paid for the show, blah blah. You're more likely to stick to it and
Mm,
to do the shit, right?
mm,
Um, because you don't want to go on stage and embarrass yourself if you care about the standard of athlete
Yeah.
that you are presenting yourself to be. But this is where the off season can actually be harder. The fact that you don't have that immediate goal, so it's like, yeah, if I miss,
yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
uh, yeah, because it's like you don't have this countdown of right. I've got 8 weeks until this, and this many weeks until that.
Yeah,
You know,
agreed. Hey, boys, do you know what I've just realised? It's fucking 23 past six.
shit.
We've been on it since 4 o'clock, haven't we?
That is a fucking long old podcast.
Good luck to
Wow,
watching this.
wow.
If you made it this far,
Yeah,
Well
fucking
done.
salute.
Well done. You've made it this far. Why? fantastic.
It's a shame because I feel like we covered some good subjects. Unfortunately, some people won't make it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, to be fair, I do timestamp these, so
You do, don't you, Jack? You do actually take some time to do that. Is that like AI generated, or are you actually doing that shit? We're not gonna know. That's fine. I'll take it.
I,
That's fine.
no,
I'm actually okay with it. Don't worry.
yeah, no. To be fair, it does help me. My mate, Chad.
No one said it's not good. It's a fucking great
No,
tool.
yeah, nobody
It's a
said that. I
great
said
tool. Yeah,
I've used it myself to refine some stuff.
of
That's
Yeah,
course.
not
Yeah, of
not.
course.
We were
We all
talking.
use
We
it.
were talking about specific diet plans and training plans here. That's what I was
yeah.
talking about.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
exactly what my point was.
Hey, fucking, we all know
Shame on
it's a
you.
great tool. It's a great tool when it's used correctly. Just like retatrutide is a great tool when used correctly. Of course it is.
Yeah. Did you see the thumbnail for the last one that
Yeah,
we
that
were
was
on?
great. That was
Yeah.
great.
We had
Yeah, the
three
pictures of all
fingers.
of us. Oh, I didn't see that bit. Oh, actually, have a look. I can actually watch it now. I can have a look.
Hey,
Oh yeah, I'm a turtle.
Yeah, but I thought it was fitting because it was about psychedelics. I'm like, that's quite trippy.
Ah, right. Yeah,
Mm.
that's fucking cool. That.
Yeah,
well,
man.
it's been a pleasure, boys. I'm sorry about the time, but I
No,
appreciate you letting me
it
on.
has, mate. It's been sick as
That was
always.
enlightening. Enlightening, is that the word?
It
How do you
was,
say it?
man. I
Yeah.
always feel like a changed man after these. You know, a
I
changed
always,
man.
I'd definitely change man after this weekend.
Yeah. Right, guys. I'm sweating my bag off, so I will shoot off, and
Nice one, gents.
It's been a pleasure.
we'll
On the next one, see you later.
Catch you
Adios,
later, guys.
amigos.
Bye
Much
bye.
love. Much love.